Chapter 599. Collapse Staying in the Alchemist Association 3. Schwer, why is that young lady of the Wu family seriously injured? The freak asked in puzzlement. He knew very well how much strength his kick had. Wu Qian'er would definitely be injured, but it shouldn't be so serious. I don't know. Could it be that that woman has other enemies? Lung Ruoxue guessed. Yes, it's possible. If I knew who framed me and made me take the blame for him, I definitely wouldn't let him go. The freak said through gritted teeth. He didn't care about Wu Qian'er's life or death, but he was a little regretful now. He was too careless back then, to the point that he was taking the blame for others now. Boo. If he had known that this would happen, he might as well have been more ruthless back then. That would also live up to its name. Haha, freak, you're very depressed now, right? Lung Ruoxue said in realization. Yes, it's quite depressing, the freak said honestly. Boo. He was framed. Hee hee, what's there to be depressed about? In fact, no matter how heavy your kick was, the Wu family won't let us go. Lung Ruoxue said understandingly. Even if the freak didn't kick Wu Qian'er out of the inn, Wu Qian'er would still find trouble with them. This was unavoidable. Schwer, I'm depressed because I was framed. You have to console me. The freak's bright black eyes looked at Lung Ruoxue longingly, his starry eyes full of anticipation. Okay. Call them in. Let's go eat the silver snowfish dinner, Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. That's it. The freak looked at Lung Ruoxue with great dissatisfaction. What else? Lung Ruoxue looked at the freak innocently. At least a kiss. The freak pouted, his handsome face full of anticipation. Don't play the limiting role in front of me. I'm a pure and innocent child. At this moment, Icy, which had been lying in Lung Ruoxue's arms, opened its ice-blue beautiful eyes helplessly, reminding them of its existence. Ooh. Don't ignore it. Sleep with you. The freak glared at Icy and said irritably. Ooh. How could he have forgotten about this little light bulb? Haha, freak, quickly go and call them. Lung Ruoxue looked at the freak who was a little angry from embarrassment, and said with a happy smile. Okay. The freak answered reluctantly and left the room. Little Snowy, you will spoil me. Icy looked at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly after the freak left. Of course not. It's bad enough that you don't need us to teach you. Lung Ruoxue raised Icy in front of her and teased. Little Snowy, how can you wrong me? Icy protested. Tears welled up in its beautiful ice-blue eyes and rolled around. Damn, Icy, you're pretending to be pitiful in front of Schwer again. The freak who returned after calling everyone saw Icy's pitiful appearance, and exposed it rudely. Boo. Why did everyone or beasts around Schwer learn this move now? How am I? Icy glared at the freak and roared with displeasure. Alright, stop arguing. Let's go eat the silver snowfish. Lung Ruoxue sighed helplessly. Then with a thought, everyone was brought into the bracelet by her. Schwer. Lung Qingtian, who had been circling around uneasily in the space, hurriedly came forward when he saw his precious granddaughter. Grandpa, we're in the Alchemist Association. Lung Ruoxue hurriedly explained when she saw her grandfather. I know. Schwer, what happened? Lung Qingtian asked in puzzlement. He had just come out of seclusion. He knew that his granddaughter and the others had been chased out of the inn, but he was not very clear about the origin of the matter. Grandpa, don't worry. The Wu family isn't our match. Lung Ruoxue calmly told her grandfather what happened. I see. Lung Qingtian didn't know whether to laugh or cry after hearing what his granddaughter said. Alas! He didn't expect the cause of the matter to be a snack. This was too unbelievable. Grandpa, let's go and eat the silver snowfish. Lung Ruoxue held her grandfather's arm coquettishly. To her, all this was nothing. Moreover, she would let the Guanyu family and the Wu family know that provoking her would result in consequences. Okay. Lung Qingtian nodded. He was never worried about his granddaughter's strength. Instead, he felt some pity for the two families who provoked his precious granddaughter. Alas! Tell me, why did you have to provoke his granddaughter? Lung Ruoxue and the others were in an incomparably good mood as they ate the delicious silver snowfish in the space. However, some people in Moon-Gazing City were not as happy as them. In the main mansion of the Guanyu family, the The Wu family was temporarily staying in the guest room of Fallen Plum Garden. Patriarch Miss fainted from the pain again. In Wu Qian'er's room, the maidservant said worriedly to a fierce-looking middle-aged man. "Guards!" The middle-aged man roared as his two subordinates, who had been waiting outside the door, pushed the door open and walked in. "Patriarch, what instructions do you have?" The two subordinates asked respectfully. "Is second butler back yet?" The Wu family's patriarch, who had a fierce look on his face, asked furiously. He had sent second butler to buy snake-ting flour, but he hadn't returned for several hours. It was really infuriating. Reporting to patriarch, second butler hasn't returned yet. However, I heard that there are no soaring snakes in all the shops in Moon-Gazing City, so I guess second butler went to the neighboring town to purchase them, a subordinate said. "Oh, inform me immediately when the second butler returns. By the way, did anything happen in the inn?" The Wu family's patriarch asked again. Qian'er was his most outstanding daughter, but now his precious daughter was lying on the bed like a cripple. How could he take this lying down? He would definitely not let those people go. "As far as I know, shopkeeper Meng has already chased them out of the inn," another subordinate said. He had just learned this news, but he didn't know if he should tell the patriarch about the collapse of the moon-gazing restaurant. "Okay, get someone to keep an eye on them." "Oh right, send this to the sixth elder and tell him that I'm very satisfied with his performance." The Wu family's patriarch took out a silver card from his ring and handed it to one of his subordinates. Chapter 600. Where do you want to take me? 1. Yes. A subordinate immediately left the room after receiving the silver card. Get second butler to bring the snake soaring flour to the Alchemist Association immediately when he returns. The Wu family's patriarch ordered another subordinate. Yes, the other subordinate answered, bowed and left the room. After his subordinates left the room, the Wu family's patriarch looked at his unconscious daughter lying on the bed, and the anger in his heart gradually rose. He would definitely not let those people go. According to his investigation, Lung Ruoxue and the man named Freak were the top two in the Mystic Association competition not long ago. However, a mere elementary mystic actually dared to go against their Wu family. He really didn't know how the word death was written. Qian'er was his most outstanding daughter. He still hoped that this daughter could become the young madam of the Guanyu family. However, looking at Qian'er's current state, how could she still participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival? No, he had to treat his daughter's injuries before the Flower Appreciation Festival. If Qian'er could obtain first place in the Flower Appreciation Festival, let's see what that old thing Guan Yuelong had to say. At this moment, someone was also depressed in an inconspicuous room in Fragrance Village. Luo Fei sat in a corner and looked at his good friend who was thinking to himself. He couldn't help but sigh with emotion in his heart. She was just a woman he had only met once. Did she have to look so dead? In fact, he had never seen Lung Ruoxue, so he naturally didn't find a woman rare. You don't understand. I harmed her. Guan Yueshi looked at his friend's expression and said self-reproachfully. Boo. He got the shopkeeper to specially leave those snacks for Lung Ruoxue, but he didn't expect them to be in trouble. Thinking of this, he was really depressed. What does this have to do with you? Wu Qian'er is obviously finding trouble for no reason. Luo Fei said, unable to bear watching. That's also related to me. Guan Yueshi was still blaming herself. Okay, even if it has something to do with you, they have been chased out of the moon-gazing restaurant. What do you intend to do? Luo Fei asked very curiously. I've already sent people to look for them. I have a yard in the outskirts of the city and intend to let them stay there for the time being. Guan Yueshi told her friend her plan. I just don't know if they will appreciate it. I think they probably hate your Guanyu family to death now, Luo Fei said understandingly. He would also hate the owner of the inn to death if he was chased out. Alas! This was all ordered by the sixth elder. I only found out later. Guan Yueshi said helplessly. Lung Ruoxue and the others had already left the inn by the time he knew about this. After that, he hurriedly arranged for people to find their whereabouts, not knowing if they could be found. Sixth elder is quite bold. He actually dares to chase guests out of the shop. Doesn't he know that this will have a bad effect on your Guanyu family? Luo Fei said in puzzlement. I heard that it was because Wu Qian'er was injured in the inn that the elders ordered the sixth elder to deal with this matter, so he gave such an order. Guan Yushi told his friend simply what he knew. But isn't it inappropriate to chase the guests out? Luo Fei couldn't help asking. Yes, but this matter involves the Wu family, so even if the sixth elder has any objections, he can only turn a blind eye to it, Guan Yueshi explained. He knew the thoughts of those old foxes in the family very well. Didn't they think that Wu Qian'er had a very high chance of becoming the young madam of the Guanyu family? Therefore, they tacitly approved of the sixth elder's behavior. Alas! I really pity you. Luo Fei's clear eyes were full of pity. Alas! Young masters of noble families like them had times when they were helpless. In fact, he really didn't want to be a young master if possible. He yearned for a free and adventurous life. Master! A cold voice sounded from outside the door, while the two of them were chatting. Zero, come in. Guan Yushi said softly. A man in black who was tightly wrapped from head to toe pushed the door open and entered after Guan Yueshi spoke. Zero, did you find them? Guan Yueshi asked anxiously. Alas! She didn't know if those people would accept his good intentions. Found it, Zero replied quickly. Have you arranged everything? Guan Yueshi asked hurriedly. Master, I didn't have the chance to approach them. They lived in the Alchemist Association, Zero explained. Alchemist Association? Oh, it's been tough on you. Zero, go and rest first. Guan Yueshi was stunned, and then said to Zero. Yes, I have another matter to report. The moon observatory collapsed. Zero left the room after speaking. This news exploded like a bomb, stunning the two men in the room. Fei, what did Zero say just now? Guan Yushi asked foolishly after a while. He just said that the moon-gazing tower collapsed. Luo Fei said uncertainly. How is this possible? Guan Yushi said in disbelief. Zero probably won't lie to us. Luo Fei said honestly. I know. Guan Yushi was depressed again. Alas! Lung Ruoxue and the others actually stayed in the Alchemist Association. And the moon-gazing restaurant collapsed. How? How could this be? That woman named Lung Ruoxue is quite capable. She can actually stay in the Alchemist Association. Could she be an alchemist? Luo Fei guessed. One had to know that not just anyone could stay in the Alchemist Association. I don't know either. I'll go home and see the situation first. Guan Yushi stood up. He didn't have to worry about them since Lung Ruoxue and the others already had a place to stay. I'll go back with you. Luo Fei said and stood up. Okay. Guan Yushi nodded. And then the two of them left the room. In the Alchemist Association. In the president's office, Ningda looked at the second butler of the Wu family standing respectfully in front of him without a word, thinking about how to send this person away. Since he already knew the grudge between Miss Lung and the Wu family, he didn't dare to let anyone refine the snake corral pill for their Wu family without Lung Ruoxue's permission. Chapter 601. Where do you want to take me? 2. Second butler, to be honest, the alchemists who can refine the snake corral pill are not here now, so I'm afraid you've come for nothing. Ningda smiled amiably, his shrewd eyes full of apology. President Ning, how can this be? Weren't the masters from a few hours ago still around? The second butler thought that he had heard it wrong and said in disbelief. The snake corral pill might only be an earth-grade pill, but the difficulty of refining it was not inferior to a heaven-grade pill at all. Therefore, only alchemists above the alchemist grandmaster level had the chance to successfully refine it. The alchemists from the Alchemist Association of Guanyue City were obviously still around not long ago, but why were they all gone in such a short time? This was really too unbelievable. Second butler, you also said that a few hours ago. It's been a long time. They can't be waiting for you here forever. Who knows if you can find the snake totem flower today? Moreover, you don't understand the characteristics of the snake accumulation pill. Don't look at how many alchemist grandmasters our association has. They don't have much confidence in refining the snake accumulation pill. If you want the success rate to be high, it's best if you can find an alchemist supremacy, so that you don't waste the snake accumulation flower you worked so hard to find. Ningda reminded very understandingly. President Ning, where did those grandmasters go? The second butler asked stubbornly. Didn't he know that the success rate of finding an alchemy supremacy to refine would be higher? However, alchemy supremacies were not cabbages that could be found easily. Moreover, even if he found them, the alchemy supremacy might not refine an earth-grade pill for you. At that time, he would probably have to find an alchemy grandmaster to refine it. More importantly, their young miss couldn't wait. They went to the headquarters, Ningde said after some thought. He didn't believe that the Wu family would dare to go to the headquarters to find someone. Moreover, the headquarters was far away. Wuxia would probably be in pain by the time they found someone and returned. The headquarters? Why did they go to the headquarters? The second butler couldn't help but roar. Damn. The headquarters would take at least half a month to reach Guanyu City, and it would take more than a month to travel back and forth. If he went to the headquarters to find someone, the old master would skin him alive. They naturally have something important to do at the headquarters. Ningde's tone suddenly became a little cold. What important matter is more important than our young miss matter? The second butler was very anxious and accidentally said the words in his heart. Second butler, who do you think your young miss is? Even the three major families probably don't dare to say anything about the Alchemist Association. It's not as important as a particular person in their family. Ningde snorted coldly and rebuked very unpleasantly. This Wu family actually didn't even take the Alchemist Association seriously. How ridiculous. Seems like he had to report second butler's words to the headquarters. In the Boundless Heaven continent, no one dared to offend alchemists even though the status of mystics was very noble. This was because even mystics would be injured, and injuries required pills. If you offended a certain alchemist with status, then prepare for your funeral early. That was why the major families on the continent would be very polite to alchemists. I'm sorry, President Ning. I misspoke. That's not what I meant. Please don't stoop to my level. Cold sweat instantly emerged from the second butler's back when he heard Ningde's words, and his little heart was trembling nonstop from fright. How could he have forgotten that there was a popular saying on the Boundless Heaven continent that said that he would rather offend the king of hell than the alchemist? Those words just now were really just his heartfelt words. Why did he say them out loud? Oh no, he was dead meat this time. If the patriarch knew that he had offended the alchemist, he would definitely not let him go. I won't bicker with a dog, but I can't guarantee about the other alchemists, Ningde said coldly, hating the Wu family in his heart. He hadn't felt that the Wu family was so annoying before, but now, the Wu family was like a nauseating fly in his heart, wanting to destroy them whenever he saw them. President Ning, I'm a dog. You can hit or scold me, but don't be angry with me. The second butler pleaded with a long face. If he couldn't coax Ningde, then he wouldn't have a way out. He knew very well how ruthless the patriarch was. I won't be angry with a dog. You can go, Ningde said lightly. Then he stood up and left the office without looking at the second butler. After Ningde left the office, he went straight to the yard he had prepared for Lung Ruoxue and the others. He saw tents full of them through the fence as he walked to the door. 2 black lines rolled down his forehead. It seemed like they really planned to camp in the yard. Ningde knocked on the door and waited respectfully. President Ning, why are you here? Fengde walked out of the room, opened the door, and asked Ningde curiously. I wanted to ask you what you want to eat for dinner. Ningde walked into the yard and said, Haha, President Ning, you don't have to worry. We've already eaten, Fengde said with a smile. Then he pulled Ningde to a stone bench in the yard and sat down. Have they eaten? Why so quickly? Ningde couldn't help but ask curiously. He couldn't help thinking in his heart. Could they have gone out to eat? However, he hadn't heard anyone from the guild say that they had gone out before. We eat food prepared by ourselves. We are used to eating what we prepare when we are out training, Fengde explained. Oh, why don't we see Miss Lung and the others? Ningde couldn't help asking when he saw only Fengde coming out. Miss and the others are all asleep, except for me. By the way, Miss asked me to give this to you. Fengde handed Ningde a white porcelain bottle. This is... Ningde took the porcelain bottle and asked doubtfully. However, when he opened the stopper, the medicinal fragrance in the bottle seeped out. He couldn't help but widen his eyes, so excited that he was speechless. Snow Spirit Pill, Ningde said excitedly after a while. Boo! It really was the Snow Spirit Pill, the legendary heaven-grade Snow Spirit Pill. President Ning, it's just a pill. Do you have to be so excited? Fengde teased softly. Chapter 602. Where do you want to take me? 3. You don't understand, you don't understand. The Snow Spirit Pill is a legendary heaven-grade pill. The main ingredient is very precious, and it has to be a 1,000-year-old snow lotus. However, there are no 1,000-year-old snow lotuses in the world anymore, so I've never had the chance to obtain it. Ningde's excitement was overflowing. Boo! When he concocted the pill a few years ago, he suffered a very serious injury from the backlash. Unless he could find a 1,000-year-old snow lotus or a snow spirit pill, he would never have the chance to become an alchemist. Alas! If not for his injuries, he would probably still be receiving guidance from the president at the Alchemist Association now. How could he be the president? A guild like the Alchemist Association was very different from the Mystic Association. In the Mystic Association, the president was a symbol of the rights and status of a mystic. However, in the Alchemist Association, the president was equivalent to a handyman. The ones with true status in the Alchemist Association were alchemists who only wanted to refine the best pills, and the president was only serving them. Of course, he was referring to the various alchemist branches. The situation in the headquarters was naturally different. Why don't I understand? This Snow Spirit Pill can enhance ice and water attribute spiritual energy, right? Our Miss Beasts often eat it, Fengde said nonchalantly. Beasts eat it often? Ningde widened his eyes and asked doubtfully. Fengde was right. The Snow Spirit Pill could not only heal fire attribute cultivators from the backlash, but it could also increase spiritual energy for ice and water attribute mystic cultivators. However, the Snow Spirit Pill was really too precious, and no one was willing to use it to increase their spiritual energy. Yes, beasts like Charm and the others eat it as snacks, Fengde said honestly, not thinking that his words would have any effect on Ningde at all. In fact, they had eaten a lot of Miss pills that could increase spiritual energy. Does Miss Lung still need beasts? Ningde asked dumbfoundedly. Boo. He wanted to be Lung Ruoxia's beast after hearing Fengde's words. What? Do you want to be a beast for my young miss too? Hee. Our commander, you will be jealous if my young miss doesn't accept humanoid beast drops. Fengde teased with a smile. No, I'm just a little envious of the treatment those beasts receive, Ningde said awkwardly. Boo. He might have that idea, but he was not a beast after all. Why would Miss Lung accept him? In fact, being Miss Subordinate isn't an ordinary good treatment. We've also eaten a lot of Miss pills like the Snow Spirit Pill you mentioned. Fengde said with a face full of pride. The expression on his face was very smug. Really? Ningde said with a face full of surprise, envious of Fengde and the others in his heart. Of course it's true. By the way, quickly go back and take the Snow Spirit Pill. I want to sleep too, Fengde urged. Boo. He still wanted to go back and eat the silver snowfish. Miss said that she would keep it for him, but he really didn't trust those gluttons Lin Yuan. You're sleeping so early, Ningde said in disbelief. Yes, Miss said that it's good to sleep early and wake up early. The consequences will be very serious if we fall behind. Fengde said pitifully. Boo. Miss Few's special training sessions were really too terrifying. He didn't want to experience it again. This was also one of the main reasons why they were cultivating so hard now. Let me ask you, Miss gave them such good conditions. How could they face Miss if they didn't cultivate properly? Oh, then go rest. I'll take my leave. Ningde stood up with the porcelain bottle in his hand. He turned around and left the yard anxiously. Miss Lung Ruoxia, who had been paying attention to the situation outside, brought Fengde into the bracelet with a thought as soon as he returned to his room. My silver snowfish. Fengde shouted after returning to the space and joined the group that was snatching food. Lass, I didn't expect you to actually have a snow spirit pill. Alas, we can't find snow lotuses more than 1,000 years old now, the little old man said with emotion. He was actually a little jealous of Lung Ruoxia's good luck, just a little. Haha, the 1,000-year-old snow lotus I used to refine the silver snow pill are all collections of charm. Lung Ruoxia said with a light smile. Mine is master's, Lung Ruoxia said elegantly as she lay on Lung Ruoxia's lap and ate the silver snowfish. Lass, I can finally tell that your beasts are very powerful and have many treasures, the little old man said with envy. What he implied was that Schwer's beasts were rich. Master, are you despising us? A snow leopard lying at the little old man's feet eating delicious silver snowfish complained. No. The little old man hurriedly comforted. How could he have forgotten that his beast was right beside him? Alas! Brother leopard, master obviously despises us. Who asked us to be poor? A golden lion said again, its golden eyes full of disappointment. Alas! It also admitted that they were indeed poor compared to Charm and the other beasts. They were once overlords of an area, so why didn't they have any valuable collections? How depressing. The little old man was speechless. He really didn't mean to despise them. He only had these two beasts. If he really despised them, he would have contracted other beasts long ago. After all, it wasn't like he hadn't encountered beasts stronger than them in all these years. However, those were not his cup of tea. Haha. Lung Ruoxia couldn't help but laugh when she saw the little old man's aggrieved expression. Then she stretched out her slender jade-like hand and gently caressed the snow leopard and the golden lion. These two beasts were also quite cute. Lass, you're still laughing. Boo-hoo. The little old man's expression became even more aggrieved, and he was depressed in his heart. Bad girl, you actually laughed at me. Haha, Grandpa, I'm done eating. Eat slowly. Lung Ruoxia said with a light smile. Then she pulled the freak beside her to stand up and walked directly toward the purple bamboo hut. I'm done eating too. Enjoy. Empty stood up and left. After a long while, everyone was almost done eating. Fengda and the others consciously packed their things and returned to their rooms. The next morning. Chapter 603. Where do you want to take me? 4. Lung Ruoxia and the others left the bracelet and returned to their room after breakfast. Miss, what are we doing today? Fengda looked at Lung Ruoxia sitting on a stone bench in the yard, and couldn't help asking. It was inconvenient to stay in the Alchemist Association now, so they couldn't stay in the space all day. In a daze. Lung Ruoxia said calmly. Daze. Why are you in a daze? Fengda asked in puzzlement. They weren't bored to the point of needing to be in a daze, right? What else? Lung Ruoxia asked with a light smile. The Wu family was in a hurry to find alchemists to refine the snake accumulation pill, so they had no time to deal with them. Miss, we can take a walk on the streets and ask about the Wu family, Fengda suggested. Oh, Lung Ruoxia said with a spurious smile. Hee, don't think she didn't know that going for a walk on the streets was probably their main goal. Miss, we can't cultivate during the day now. Fengda couldn't help explaining. Miss Gaze made him feel so guilty. Yes, that's true. Let's take a walk on the streets then. Lung Ruoxia agreed with a light smile, not exposing Fengda's intentions. Just as Lung Ruoxia and the others were about to go out, there was a knock on the door. Everyone looked out along the fence, and happened to see Ningda standing outside the door with an excited face. Fengda, go open the door. Lung Ruoxia ordered. Yes, Fengda answered, walked over, and opened the door. Miss Lung, thank you for your snow spirit pill. My injuries are all healed. After following Fengda into the yard, Ningda saw Lung Ruoxia sitting in the yard and bowed very respectfully, his face full of gratitude. He could finally become an alchemist again. President Ning, it's just a mere snow spirit pill. It's nothing to me. However, not everyone is qualified to receive my effort. Lung Ruoxia's beautiful face had a faint smile as she said nonchalantly. What she implied was that she was also looking at others to be kind. I understand, President Ning said very respectfully and took the initiative to call himself a subordinate. President Ning, we intend to take a walk on the streets, Lung Ruoxia said softly, ignoring Ningda's words. Miss, just call me Ningda. I'll go with you. No one in Moon Gazing City has dared to not give me face. You will have fewer troubles with me around. Ningda quickly said. Ooh. He had to perform well, and strive to become Miss Subordinate as soon as possible. Okay. Lung Ruoxua nodded slightly. Since Ningda wanted to perform, she would give him a chance. After all, she had a good impression of Ningda. Miss, please. Ningda bowed slightly and made an inviting gesture. Ningda, you have to lead the way. Lung Ruoxua reminded with a light smile. Yes, miss, Ningda said shyly. He was so excited that he forgot that his miss was not familiar with Moon Gaze City. Lung Ruoxua and the others walked side by side with Ningda, while Fengda and the others followed behind them. Everyone left the Alchemist Association. Ningda, bring us to some less crowded and very representative places. Forget about crowded and lively places. Lung Ruoxua ordered as soon as they exited the Alchemist Association. Yes. Ningda looked at Lung Ruoxua and the other's stunning appearance and said in realization. Miss, the flower viewing convention in Moon Gazing City is in a few days. I've received an invitation. Are Miss and the others interested? Ningda asked as he walked. In his opinion, he would accompany Lung Ruoxua and the others if they wanted to see the commotion. If they didn't want to see, then he wouldn't go either. Is there anything interesting about the flower viewing convention? My subordinates want to take a look, Lung Ruoxua said indifferently. Miss Wuxia originally wanted to participate in the flower viewing convention, but now that she's seriously injured, I'm afraid she won't have the chance to participate. It's said that this year's champion has a chance to become the young madam of the Guanyu family, Ningda explained. Oh, then didn't we ruin the Wu family's plan? Lung Ruoxua said with a smile. No wonder Wu Qian'er was so arrogant. It seemed like she was very confident in winning the championship. Yes, so we are bound to have a feud with the Wu family, Ningda said with certainty. What a stunning beauty! Guards, take this beauty away. Suddenly, an uninvited voice interrupted Lung Ruoxua and Ningda's conversation. Lung Ruoxua looked up at the frivolous man in front of her with her beautiful eyes and said with a spurious smile. Where do you want to bring me? Bring her home to be my concubine, of course. Hee. The man smiled wretchedly, his eyes shining with lust. You. Lung Ruoxua looked the man up and down with her beautiful eyes and said mockingly. The man in front of him was about 20 years old. He had a greasy head and a pink face. His eyes were dull, and his handsome face was dull. His figure was slightly chubby, and he was obviously a person who had indulged in too much. Moreover, this person's strength was not high, and he was only a mystic. Beauty, do you know who I am? Follow me and I will guarantee you a good life, and a good life. So don't hesitate. Hurry up and throw yourself into my arms. I will definitely love you well. The man said with slight pride. He almost drooled as he looked at Lung Ruoxua's beautiful appearance. Hee, I really don't know who you are. Why don't you introduce yourself? Lung Ruoxua said with a light smile, her beautiful face full of undisguised disgust for the man. I'm Guanyu Lai, the most favored 9th young master of the Guanyu family. How is it? I scared you. Guanyu Lai said with a face full of pride. In his understanding, as long as he announced his family, all the women he liked would take the initiative to enter his arms. Guanyu Lai? I've never heard of him. Have you heard of him? Lung Ruoxua frowned slightly and turned to Ningda. No. Guanyu Shi is the most famous among the young masters of the Guanyu family. I don't know who Guanyu Lai is. Ningda said very disdainfully. Chapter 604. Being robbed 1. How dare you humiliate this young master? Guards, take these people down. Guanyu Lai immediately roared mightily after hearing Ningda's words. Humph. This man absolutely couldn't let go of anyone who dared to humiliate him in front of a beauty. Didn't you say that no one dares to not give you face in Moon Gazing City? Then what happened? Lung Ruoxua looked at Ningda in puzzlement. Her clear eyes were pure and kind. In fact, she had been laughing in her heart for a long time. Hee, she was thinking about how to cause trouble for the Guanyu family, when a fool came knocking on her door. There will always be fish that escape the net, Ningda said shamelessly, but he hated Guanyu Lai to the core in his heart. Damn it, he actually embarrassed himself in front of Miss and the others. It was really unforgivable. At this moment, a huge cross was drawn on the Guan Yu Lai family in his heart. Oh, what do you intend to do with this fish? Leng Ruoxue asked calmly, completely ignoring Guan Yu Lai and the others who were watching her drool. Do whatever Miss says. I have no interest in either steamed or braised, Ningda said very respectfully and handed the decision to Leng Ruoxue. All right then, listen to me. Leng Ruoxue nodded with satisfaction. Yes. Ningda nodded slightly. That Guan Yu Lai, right? Do you intend to snatch me away? Leng Ruoxue turned to Guan Yu Lai and asked after communicating with Ningda. Of course there's no need to go through so much trouble if you're willing to take the initiative to come home with me. However, don't blame me for not being protective of the fairer sex if you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Hee, I love beauties the most, Guan Yu Lai said with extreme confidence. Of course not taking the initiative to follow you home. Snatch it if you dare. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Guards, kidnap this beauty. Guan Yu Lai ordered the guard without thinking after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. Young master, what about the others? A guard couldn't help asking. In fact, what he wanted to say was that the other party obviously had more people than them. It would probably be difficult to snatch them by force. However, he also knew that young master was already blinded by beauty and would definitely not listen to him, so he didn't dare to say it too clearly. Kill the others to avoid trouble. Leave the beauty alone. Guan Yu Lai was not stupid and naturally would not leave any trouble for herself. Are you sure you can kill them? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face revealed a breathtaking smile, as she said lightly to Guan Yu Lai. Of course, Guan Yu Lai said very confidently. His subordinates were all the elites of the Guan Yu family. It would not be a problem even if they had twice the number of people compared to them, let alone deal with them. Don't kill us. Take our young miss away. Feng De couldn't help but interrupt, his handsome face full of fear. That's right. You can snatch our young miss as long as you don't kill us. Moreover, we are willing to go with you. Lin Yuan also hooted. Ningda couldn't help but be at a loss for words when he heard them. He couldn't help but grumble in his heart. How can you be my subordinates? How can you hope that my young miss will be snatched away? Haha, your subordinates are wise. Guan Yu Lai became even more smug after hearing what Feng De and Lin Yuan said. Yes. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help rolling her eyes. She was sure now that this Guan Yu Lai was really a fool. Ordinary people would probably be suspicious if they heard what her subordinate said. However, that fellow was actually still smug. He was really of the best quality. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and snatch this beauty away from me. Oh right, and her subordinates. Guan Yu Lai turned to his guards and ordered. He didn't believe that the beauty wouldn't be obedient with these subordinates of the beauty. He thought self-righteously, yes. The guards hesitated, not knowing whether they should go forward or not because they could see that these people were not to be trifled with. However, the young master, who had been blinded by beauty, obviously did not see it. You don't have to be troubled. Just lead the way. Our miss won't run. Feng De said with a smile. Feng De. Ningda looked at Feng De and hesitated. He could finally tell that this boy didn't have good intentions. But could he not go to the Guan Yu family as a guest? It would be very embarrassing if others knew that he was actually snatched back by Guan Yu Lai. His good reputation. Old Ning, our young miss has been snatched away. How can you not follow as a subordinate? Aren't you too disloyal? Feng De hugged Ningda's shoulder and said with slight disdain. What he implied was that they had to face difficulties together if they wanted to become the young miss subordinate. Feng De, pay some money and let him go. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Feng De was stunned and didn't understand what Miss meant for a moment. What did she mean by paying Ningda to leave? Why did she have to pay him? He's our tour guide. How can we let him suffer with us? Leng Ruoxue glanced at Feng De. Oh, that's true. Since you're only our young miss temporary subordinate, you should go first. Feng De said hurriedly and took out a few purple coins from the bracelet to hand to Ningda. Yes, I'll take my leave first. Ningda played the role of a tour guide very responsibly. He accepted the purple coins happily and then turned to leave. Young master, we can't let that person leave. A subordinate couldn't help but remind Lung Ruoxue, when he saw that the young master didn't react, and was just looking at her foolishly with drool flowing down his face. They didn't dare to leave her behind without the young master's permission. It's okay. It's just a tour guide. Let's go. Guan Yulai said nonchalantly. He didn't care about the others as long as the beauty didn't leave. Let your people lead the way. Lung Ruoxue looked at Guan Yulai and said very coldly, No, my people have to watch you from behind. Otherwise, what if you run away? Guan Yulai was no longer stupid and thought he was very smart. Chapter 605. Being robbed too. Aren't you going to snatch me by force? How are you going to snatch me from behind? Lung Ruoxue raised her eyebrows curiously. That's true. You guys lead the way while the others watch them from behind. Don't let any of them go. Guan Yulai ordered loudly. 2 drops of cold sweat involuntarily dripped down the forehead of his guards after hearing Guan Yulai's words. They thought to themselves, we've already let one of them go just now, so what's the use of looking at him now? However, they were not too worried about the person who escaped. After all, Moon-Gazing City was in the territory of the Guan Yu family, so they didn't think anyone would dare to cause trouble for the Guan Yu family. In this way, Lung Ruoxue and the others followed Guan Yulai's guard and swaggered into the main mansion of the Guan Yu family. Instead of saying that Guan Yulai robbed them, it was more like Guan Yulai sent people to protect them from behind. Hehe. They had guards in front and behind them. On the way to the Guan Yu family, Guan Yulai kept wanting to talk to Lung Ruoxue, but Lung Ruoxue couldn't even be bothered with him. She was annoyed by him, so she directly summoned Charm and Darling and covered her ears with their fluffy big tails. In a side yard of the Guan Yu family. In the yard. Beauty. How dare you ignore me? Guan Yulai roared furiously after sneaking Lung Ruoxue and the others to a yard that had been abandoned for many years. He gritted his teeth in hatred when he saw the 2 foxes lying on the bowtie's shoulder. Why should I care about you? Lung Ruoxue couldn't even be bothered to look at Guan Yulai. She directly pulled the freak to a seat and leaned comfortably in his arms. Who is this man? Guan Yulai couldn't help asking with some jealousy when he saw that the woman he liked was actually leaning on another man. The beauty was snatched back by him. Of course it belonged to him. How could it be taken advantage of by another man? My fiancé. Lung Ruoxue kissed the freak's beautiful face a little provocatively, and then said to Guan Yulai, Damn it, I snatched you back. How can you kiss another man? Guan Yulai was about to explode from anger. She immediately jumped and roared furiously as if her tail had been stepped on. He's not another man. He's my man. Lung Ruoxue stretched out her arms to hug the freak, and said with a blissful face, I'm your only man. I must kill him. Guan Yulai said with some jealousy. He took out a weapon from his ring, injected his meager mystic energy into it, and slashed directly at the freak. Calm down here, me. The freak hurriedly said as he hugged Schwer and easily dodged the attack. What do you want to say? I'll give you a chance to say your last words. Guan Yulai said very kindly because the freak was already a dead person in his eyes. You can't kill me, the freak said bluntly. Why can't I kill you? Guan Yulai asked in puzzlement. Because Schwer will hate you if you kill me. Moreover, you snatched Schwer first and then snatched me at the same time. Do you want to be irresponsible? The freak reminded and said matter-of-factly. What responsibility should I bear? Guan Yulai asked foolishly. I'm useless. I can't protect my woman, so Schwer was snatched away by you. However, I didn't expect you to snatch us away too. Since you snatched us away, we're yours. Tell me, doesn't that mean you have to support us? The freak explained with a naughty smile. That's right. You have to support us. Young Master Guan Yu, you said that we won't have to worry about food and clothing if we follow you. You can't go back on your word. Fengda hurriedly echoed. That's right. Young Master Guan Yu. We'll rely on you to support us from now on. Lin Yuan and the others also said cooperatively. At least you have eyesight. There's definitely no mistake following this young master. I guarantee that you will live in the lap of luxury from now on. Guan Yulai was a little lightheaded by the reliance in the eyes of the freak and the others. Well, the feeling of being admired was really good. In that case, get some food for my subordinates and beasts. We're all hungry, Lung Ruoxua said with dissatisfaction. Her beautiful face was calm, and without any emotions. Hee Beauty, please wait a moment. Hurry up and get some food for Beauty and the others. Guan Yu Lai ordered his guards while saying to Lung Ruoxua with a perverted face. Yes, the guard quickly replied and couldn't help but grumble in his heart. Alas! The strength of a beauty was so great. When did young master become so easygoing? However, he had to obediently arrange food for these people no matter what. Beauty, suffer here for a few days. I'll marry you as my concubine in a few days, Guan Yu Lai said with anticipation. And he began to daydream happily again in his heart. Concubine? I won't be a concubine. Lung Ruoxua said calmly. The women she hated the most were mistresses in both lifetimes, so how could she be a concubine for any man? Beauty, could it be that you want to be the rightful wife? But I don't have the final say. How about this? Marry me first, and I'll take you in as the second wife after I marry the rightful wife. Don't worry, no matter how many women I have, you will be the one I love and love the most. Guan Yu Lai said with a face full of affection, not realized how disgusting his current expression was to the people around him. I'm the only woman who you can marry. Otherwise, Lung Ruoxua looked at the freak first, then at Guan Yu Lai, but she smiled and didn't say anything on purpose. Otherwise what? Guan Yu Lai's heart trembled as he asked carefully. At the same time, he kept comforting himself in his heart. It's okay. All beauties had to have some character. Otherwise, wouldn't they be a piece of wood? And he liked women with character. Otherwise, I'll castrate him and make him unable to touch any woman in his life, Lung Ruoxua said with a spurious smile. Her beautiful eyes swept lightly below Guan Yu Lai's abdomen. Guan Yu Lai's entire body trembled under Lung Ruoxia's gaze, and he subconsciously covered his precious life root with his hand. Ooh. He couldn't be castrated. He was still counting on this treasure to have fun. What would he do for the rest of his life if it was broken? A beauty with character was really too terrifying. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 606, Being Robbed 3. Beauty, stay here for the time being. I have something on now. I'll visit you tomorrow. With that, Guan Yu Lai rolled and crawled out of the yard in an extremely disheveled manner. However, he still didn't forget to instruct his guards to look at them after leaving. Beauty might be a little fierce, but she was a rare beauty after all. It was forgivable. Swear you're too evil. How can you watch him? The freak complained aggrievedly after Guan Yu Lai left. What did I see? Lung Ruoxua pretended to be stupid. Swear, don't look at other men's bodies anymore. You're only allowed to look at mine. The freak said domineeringly. I didn't. Lung Ruoxua continued to pretend that she didn't see it. She just glanced at it casually to scare Guan Yu Lai. It didn't count. Miss, that Guan Yu Lai is so timid. She actually dared to rob an innocent woman. It's really too unbelievable, Feng De said in puzzlement. Miss scared Guan Yu Lai witless with one sentence. Where did he get the guts to snatch a woman? It's possible that Guan Yu Lai is exploiting the might of the tiger. Or someone is cleaning up his mess behind his back, Lung Ruoxua analyzed. Guan Yu Lai was in the territory of the Guan Yu family, so naturally no one dared to provoke him in his own family's territory. So it also created his lawless character. However, that fellow was indeed quite timid, so she suspected that someone was backing him up. Miss, what should we do next? Feng De asked excitedly with a curious face, his eyes full of anticipation. Something was about to happen again. He was so excited. You were the ones who asked him to snatch me away. Why are you asking about me instead? Lung Ruoxua said aggrievedly, her beautiful face full of bitterness. Ooh. Feng De and the others actually sent her into the tiger's den. However, she wanted to come too. Miss, we did it for you. The Guan Yu family came knocking on our door. What a good opportunity this is. It would be a pity if we don't grasp it properly. Feng De coaxed softly eloquently. He knew that Miss definitely had plans, but Miss refused to tell him. Ooh. Feng De, you're really becoming better at talking. As a reward, you can eat and drink whatever you want here. Don't stand on ceremony. Whatever the Guan Yu family has is money. Lung Ruoxua said lightly as if she was the master of the Guan Yu family. Miss, don't worry. We will definitely complete anything, Feng De promised immediately. It's just eating. What's the difficulty? However, he wouldn't think like this after eating for 2 days. Yes, very good. Your mission is to eat. As for me and the freak, we have to take a good look at the Guanyua family. Alas, since we're here once, we can't leave any regrets. I don't know when we can come again, Lung Ruoxua said with infinite emotion. She heard that the threshold of the Guanyua family was quite high, so she had to seize the opportunity. Schwer, when are we going on a tour? The freak asked expectantly. People who didn't know would definitely think that he admired the Guanyu family very much, seeing his anxious expression. At night, of course. There are many people in the day. I don't like it, Lung Ruoxua said matter-of-factly. It's still early. What should we do now? The freak looked at the sky. It was not noon yet. Let's go take an afternoon nap. Lung Ruoxua pulled the freak into the dusty room after speaking. It's not even noon yet, but Mrs. taking an afternoon nap? Lin Yuan couldn't help muttering to himself. Pa. A knock landed on Lin Yuan's head. Can our miss be like others? She can take an afternoon nap whenever she wants. Feng De said matter-of-factly. Oh, I know. Lin Yuan covered his aching head, pouted, and said aggrievedly. Miss was bullying others without the captain. She was really too evil. Shoo, the food delivery is here. Feng De heard footsteps from afar and said hurriedly. Everyone quickly fell silent when they heard that. A few minutes later, Guan Yu Lei's guard walked into the yard, took out food from his ring, and placed it on the stone table in the yard. Then he prepared to leave. This place was really too shabby. No one was willing to guard here, so they still hid far away even though young master ordered them to watch these people. Wait! Feng De hurriedly urged when he saw that the guards wanted to slip away. What else? A guard asked impatiently. Hey, your young master said that he wants you to serve us well. What's with your attitude? Feng De roared for no reason. Lin Yuan and the others also surrounded him cooperatively to boost the captain's prestige. I'm sorry. May I ask if there's anything else? Another guard asked very politely and gave the guard a look to signal for him to calm down. These people were really too mistaken. They thought that their young miss was about to soar into the sky, but they actually shouted at them. Even though the young master didn't explicitly say that he wanted to serve these people, he knew very well that if they neglected these people and displeased that beauty, they would have to go to the suburbs to feed the mosquitoes without her blowing the pillow. Therefore, he really didn't dare to offend Feng De and the others. This big brother guard has a good attitude. Learn from him. Feng De nodded with satisfaction, and then said to the guard from before threateningly, This bit of food is too little. It's not enough for us. Feng De said to the guard with a better attitude after demonstrating. These aren't enough. How big an appetite do you have? The guards with better attitudes couldn't help widening their eyes in disbelief. There are many of us. Feng De said shyly. That's enough. We prepared according to your number. The guard with a better attitude explained very patiently. It couldn't be helped. She had a drop-dead gorgeous young miss. But we still have many beasts. We're full. We can't leave our beasts alone. Feng De said with a smile. The amiable expression on his face was like two different people compared to his fierce appearance just now. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 607. Being robbed for. How many beasts do you have? The friendlier guard asked. A lot. Prepare according to the appetite of 1,000 beasts. Feng De said after some thought because he had already seen Silverwing's fluffy little head sticking out of the room. Could Miss have released all her beasts? 1,000? The guards immediately lost their composure after hearing Feng De's words, and couldn't help wiping the cold sweat off their foreheads. They couldn't help but grumble in their hearts. It shouldn't be so scary. They didn't believe that there were so many beasts among these 30-plus people. How was this possible? One had to know that beasts were not easy to contract, especially high-level beasts. It was even harder to obtain, so it was very difficult for them to imagine the spectacular scene of having 1,000 beasts. Silverwings, don't be shy. Come out and meet people. Fonda knew that they wouldn't believe him, so he shouted directly into the room. Oh, Silverwings swaggered out of the house with its subordinates when it heard Fonda's call. Hee, Miss asked them to come out and let the wind blow. This is a silver wolf pack. The guards present were so scared that they broke out in cold sweat when they saw at least 1,000 imitated little silver wolves. Boo-hoo, a silver wolf pack. Oh my God, it was really too terrifying. They might not take a single silver wolf seriously, but they couldn't ignore a group of silver wolves because the group attack of the silver wolf pack was really too powerful. Yes, Silverwings is the king of the silver wolves. Its subordinates naturally follow Miss because our Miss contracted it. I'm not lying, right? Big Brother Guard, quickly prepare food for them. Fonda said with a happy smile. They had known Silverwings the longest, so their relationship was the deepest. Yes, well, go and prepare now. The guards answered hurriedly. Under the fierce gazes of thousands of silver wolves, they didn't even dare to breathe heavily, and their legs were a little trembling. However, they still forced themselves to leave the yard to prepare food for these fierce carnivores. What a group of perverts. This was the first time they heard that contracting with the Silver Wolf King could buy a free meal. Why didn't they encounter such a good thing? Moreover, there were many people who contracted with the Wolf King in the history of the Boundless Heaven continent, but no one could obtain the entire wolf group. Silverwings, looks like you are still the most deterrent. Look at how scared they are, haha. Fonda couldn't help laughing hysterically seeing the guards fleeing the yard in fright like Guan Yu Lai previously. When fighting, as long as Miss lit these beasts up, no one would dare to attack. It was really too satisfying. Of course, we might not be strong now, but the power of the Silver Wolf Pack is something that even Icy has to consider carefully if it wants to teach us a lesson. Silverwings said very proudly, its fluffy little face full of cockiness, looking especially cute. What about Fengjian? Fonda asked curiously. That's with wings. We won't fight with them. Silverwings said fearfully. Boo. Among Master's beasts, the little red bird that was the greatest threat to them was the one that could breathe fire because the little red bird was also a large group of subordinates and could breathe fire. They couldn't afford to offend it. Haha. Fonda laughed heartily after hearing Silverwings' words. His Miss beasts were really too cute, and they were especially self-aware. As the man and beast chatted, the guards who went to retrieve the food returned. The silver wolves didn't even look at the food in the ring when the guards placed it in front of the silver wolves. They all turned their heads with disdain. Why aren't you eating? A guard couldn't help asking. Damn, how dare you let us eat this rubbish food? Are you feeding the dogs? A silver wolf with a fiery temper roared angrily. Our patriarch's beasts also eat this. The guard wiped the cold sweat off his forehead fearfully and whispered fearfully. Ooh. This was food specially prepared for the beasts by the Guan Yu family. How could they not be satisfied? The guard couldn't understand. The beasts of the patriarch and elders loved to eat. Their beasts couldn't eat it even if they wanted to, but they were actually not satisfied. So what? We won't eat such trashy food. Hurry up and pour it away. Silverwings also said. A top-notch family actually abused beasts like this. It was too much. Fall. We can't fall. A guard said in shock. Boo. These beasts were really too difficult to serve. The food was obviously very good. Were they deliberately finding trouble? He couldn't help thinking in his heart. Why can't it fall? Silverwings asked with its beautiful silver eyes widened in dissatisfaction. We haven't fed our beasts yet. It would be a waste if we pour them away. The guard said hurriedly. Boo. If others knew that they had thrown away all the food they fed the beasts in the mansion, their end would be very tragic. One had to know that they had secretly taken out these foods. Oh, then feed your beasts. Silverwing said generously. Yes. The guards braced themselves and summoned their beasts. The guards' beasts were not of a high level. After coming out, they saw the fierce silver wolves and were so scared that they did not dare to move, let alone eat in front of the silver wolves. Don't be scared. Hurry up and finish this food. Otherwise, let your master throw these things away, Silverwings said with a smile. In his heart, he despised these cowardly beasts. They were really too useless. Back then, when their levels were low, they were not afraid at all when they saw beasts stronger than them. Yes. Yes. The few beasts answered with trembling voices. Then they walked to the food with their weak forelegs, and began to eat it very slowly. Eat big. Are you male beasts? You're so embarrassing. Little Silver Maple looked at their elegant table manners, and scolded very unhappily. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 608. Visiting the Guanyu family at night 1, yes. A few beasts answered, and then began to eat heartily. Even the female beasts were the same. Boo. They wanted to say that they were not a public drip, but they didn't dare. That's more like it. Fong Fong nodded with satisfaction. Haha, little Fong Fong, you're becoming more and more like a wolf king. Fong De couldn't help but hug Fong Fong, and sighed with emotion. Back then, the reason why they could form ties with Miss was also related to these silver wolves. Of course, Big Sister often says that you shouldn't lose to others. Even if the other party is stronger than you absolutely can't be weaker than the other party in terms of aura. Fong Fong said with a face full of pride. Its admiration for Lung Ruoxua was like a raging river, flowing endlessly. Yes. Fong De nodded in agreement. Then he ordered the dull guards. Go and get some delicious food. Remember, these silver wolves will eat whatever your patriarch eats. The guards were still stunned. Boo. These silver wolves were treated a little too well. They actually wanted to eat like the patriarch. What? Is there a problem? Let me tell you, no matter what my young miss eats, her beasts will also eat with her. The Guanyu family is a top family in the boundless heaven continent. If you can't even support a few beasts, then please tell Guanyu Lai not to have any ideas about our young miss, Fong De said with slight dissatisfaction. The guards looked at each other with bitter faces, and no one said anything. Ooh. How could they dare to tell young master this? They would have to feed the mosquitoes directly if young master knew. Please wait for a moment. Well, go get some food, a guard said helplessly. Boo. They were really too much. Okay, go quickly, Fong De urged. Yes. The guards nodded in unison, and then escaped. They slipped away quite quickly, Fong De said with a light smile. Then he turned his gaze to the few beasts fighting with the food. He really wondered if these beasts could destroy all these food. Moreover, Silverwings kept urging them. Hey, you have to eat all this food. Silverwings ordered the few careful beasts. I can't eat anymore. A beast that was so bloated that its stomach was about to burst said softly with courage. You still have to eat. Look at how thin you are. How can you not eat more? Silverwing said with seeming concern. I really can't eat anymore. The beast sobbed with tears in its eyes. Ooh. It didn't want to be the first beast to be stuffed to death by food. Oh, take a rest first then continue eating later, Silverwing said after some thought. Was this a good idea? It was so smug. The poor beast, which was about to explode from being stuffed, rolled its eyes in fright after hearing Silverwing's words. It kicked its forehooves and fainted. Its mental endurance is really too weak. It's just letting it eat something. Is there a need to do this? Silverwings complained. It hadn't had enough fun yet. How could a toy faint? With this in mind, it produced a pill from nowhere, pried open the beast's mouth, and threw the pill in. A few minutes later. Silverwings, what did you feed it? Why isn't it awake yet? Fong De couldn't help asking curiously, seeing that the beast didn't wake up immediately. It's medicine that can help it digest food. I'm kind, right? Silverwings said proudly. Its expression seemed to be saying, praise me. Fong De was speechless. Medicine that could help digest food. Wasn't that a leak? Silverwings was really ruthless. The medicine refined by Miss had extraordinary power. Alas! He now felt a little pity for this unconscious beast. Tell me if anyone else feels stuffed. I have pills here that can help you digest. You won't feel bloated anymore after eating. Silverwings said to the other beasts who were still fighting with their food with a smile. There's no need. The few beasts said hurriedly. Boo. This Wolf King definitely didn't have any good intentions, so they would rather die from overeating than eat the pills it gave. Oh, then quickly eat. There's still a lot of food. Silverwings said without being angry or angry. Its good intentions might have been misunderstood by the beasts, but adults didn't take offense. It wouldn't bicker with these beasts. Yes. The beasts didn't even dare to raise their heads, and just buried themselves in the food in front of them. At this moment, the unconscious beast woke up and clearly felt uncomfortable. It ran directly toward the straw hut of the Guan Yu family without thinking. Look at this speed. Miss Pills are so useful. Silverwings praised, its fluffy little face full of a naughty smile. At the same time, the guards who went to steal the food from the patriarch and elders returned. They sneakily took the food out of the ring and placed it in front of the silver wolves, and hurriedly said, "Eat quickly. We spend a lot of effort to obtain these foods." Hee. You've worked hard, Fonda said with a smile. He glanced at those things at the same time and couldn't help but praise in his heart. The food the patriarch ate was really good. Alas, your patriarch really doesn't eat much. Forget it, let's eat. Silverwing picked up a fish with its claws and tasted it before saying with dissatisfaction. A certain beast's opinion was obviously different from Fonda's. Silverwing's words almost made the guards vomit blood. Damn it! The patriarch didn't eat well? Then who ate well? They couldn't help cursing in their hearts. Boo! The food they spent so much effort to get was actually despised again. Now they really wanted to know what these silver wolves usually ate. Why were they all so picky? Haha, big brother guard, it's also quite tiring for you to prepare food for us. Let's eat together. Fonda smiled and tried to smooth things over. He knew very well that he should stop while he was ahead. He knew that he couldn't let these guards suffer too much of a blow. Otherwise, there would be no more fun. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 609, Visiting the Guan Yu family at night, 2. Then we want stand on ceremony. The guards looked at each other and communicated with their eyes slightly. They worked hard to get these food. The patriarch and the elders would definitely punish them severely if they knew. They would be punished anyway, so they might as well eat enough now. Otherwise, how wronged would they be? You're welcome. Let's eat together. Fonda and the others were very hospitable. They didn't feel the pinch at all because these foods were not theirs. The guards nodded and then each found a seat to sit down. They had to destroy the evidence. They couldn't let anyone find these food, or the consequences would be very serious. Just like that, the guards colluded with Fonda and the others in a sorry state. They ate, drank, and chatted happily. The earth beast that had eaten the medicine that could help its digestion stayed in the toilet for the entire day, until its master found it. Only then did it bring the unconscious earth beast back. In the fallen plum garden, the patriarch of the Wu family kept pacing around Wu Qian'er's room, feeling abnormally annoyed. Moreover, he couldn't help cursing softly. Damn it, why isn't the second butler back yet? Old master, second butler has been to the Alchemist Association for a long time. He should be back soon. Don't worry. The maidservant braced herself and comforted. It's almost a day. Does refining a pill take so long? The Wu family's patriarch said very displeased. Patriarch, I'm back. The second butler's voice sounded from outside the room. Patriarch, second butler is finally back, the maidservant said happily. She didn't have to worry anymore now that second butler was back. It was great. She had been in a nervous state since yesterday because Miss and the patriarch were time bombs. Patriarch. The second butler pushed open the door anxiously and shouted with a self-righteous face. Why did you take so long? The Wu family's patriarch asked fiercely with a stern face. What trash? He couldn't even do this little thing. Patriarch, when I went yesterday, the alchemist grandmasters of the Alchemist Association happened to be not around, so I could only wait for them to return. I immediately got them to concoct the pill for Miss as soon as I saw them today. I returned immediately after the pill was concocted without any delay. The second butler hurriedly explained. He didn't know why President Ning changed his mind and arranged for an alchemist grandmaster to concoct the snake accumulation pill for him, but as long as he could obtain the pill and treat Miss' injuries, it would be a meritorious deed. Boo. He couldn't let the patriarch know that he offended President Ning yesterday, so he was chased out of the house. Now he was very glad that his wise decision yesterday was to wait outside the Alchemist Association. Alas, hard work paid off. He finally obtained the snake accumulation pill. Of course, it was also possible that President Ning was touched by his sincerity, and the alchemist grandmaster happened to return, so he got those arrogant grandmasters to help him refine pills. He daydreamed happily in his heart. Oh, second butler, you did well. I will remember your contribution. The Wu family's patriarch nodded with satisfaction after hearing the second butler's explanation. Thank you, patriarch. The second butler quickly thanked him, and took out the snake accumulation pill from his ring, and handed it to the patriarch. Second butler, you've worked hard. Go and rest. The Wu family's patriarch took the snake corral pill, and said to the second butler. Yes, the second butler answered and left after speaking. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the patriarch accepted his explanation. Otherwise, he really didn't know what kind of punishment he would have received. How dangerous. In the room, the Wu family's patriarch looked at the black pill in his hand that was emitting a faint stink and frowned slightly, but he still sent the pill to Wu Qianer. He had heard of the snake accumulation pill, but this was the first time he had seen it. Therefore, it was not unacceptable as long as he could cure his daughter, even if the taste of the snake accumulation pill was a little strange. Why isn't Qianu awake yet? After a while, the Wu family's patriarch couldn't help being a little anxious seeing that his precious daughter still didn't show any signs of waking up. In fact, he didn't necessarily care about his daughter. After all, the Flower Appreciation Festival was about to begin. Even if he could wait, the Flower Appreciation Festival couldn't be postponed for his daughter. Patriarch, don't worry. Miss has already taken the snake accumulation pill, and will wake up soon. The maidservant standing by the side had to console him. It's been so long. She should be awake by now, right? The Wu family's patriarch said impatiently, his heart racing like an ant on a hot pan. Wu Qianer finally reacted and slowly opened her eyes as the Wu family's patriarch was pacing around anxiously. Father, are my injuries healed? Wu Qianer asked in disbelief after opening her eyes. She actually didn't feel the pain that tore her lungs apart. Yes, Qianer. Do you still feel pain now? The Wu family's patriarch nodded and asked very concernedly. It doesn't hurt anymore. Wu Qianer exercised her arm, and then said happily. She was finally sure that her injuries were really healed. It seems like the snake accumulation pill is indeed useful. The Wu family's patriarch was also very happy. Haha, his daughter's injuries were healed, and she could participate in the flower viewing convention as scheduled. That old man Guan Yulong would have nothing to say now, right? Because he was very confident that his daughter would definitely be able to obtain the champion, as long as she could participate in the flower viewing convention. Father, I won't let those people who injured me go. Wu Qianer said fiercely with a fierce gaze. Yes, Qianer, don't worry. Father has already asked the Guan Yu family to chase them out of the inn, and has been sending people to monitor them. You can deal with them however you want. However, now is not the time. The most important thing now is the flower viewing convention. You have to obtain first place. Only then will you have the chance to become the young madam of the Guan Yu family, understand? The Wu family's patriarch reminded very seriously. Alas, this daughter was good in every way, but she was too impulsive. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 610. Visiting the Guan Yu family at night 3? Yes, father, don't worry. I know. Wu Qianer promised very obediently. Qianer, have a good rest for the next 2 days. Your main task now is to recuperate and prepare for the flower appreciation meeting with all your might. The Wu family's patriarch reminded her again. He ordered his daughter to have a good rest, and then left the room with ease. After the Wu family's patriarch left, Wu Qian'er lay on the bed gloomily. She hated Leng Ruoxue and the others to the point of gritting her teeth. However, she didn't dare to disobey her father. Moreover, she knew very well the importance of the flower viewing convention to her, so she could only temporarily bear this grievance. She would slowly deal with those people after the flower viewing conference ended. Time passed slowly. Night fell quickly as Fengda and the others feasted. Leng Ruoxue, the freak, and Empty emerged from the bracelet and saw Fengda, the beasts, and the guards lying on the ground, sleeping soundly. He swear they really ate a lot. Empty looked at the leftovers on the ground and sighed. Okay. Leng Ruoxue stored the drunk silver wolves into the bracelet. Then she summoned Fengzhan and piled the trash in a corner with the tornado technique. She ordered Fengzhan to destroy the corpse to prevent the Guanyue family from discovering it, because she knew very well how these food came about. She didn't care what the consequences would be for the guards, but she couldn't let her subordinates cause trouble. Therefore, she would benefit the guards along the way. Master, it's done. Fengzhan immediately flew to Leng Ruoxue's shoulder to report after burning all the food and equipment clean with the southern spirit flame. Okay, let's go out for a walk. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly at the freak and Empty. Swear, what about Fengda and the others? The freak looked at Fengda and the others lying on the ground and asked worriedly. They should stay outside for the time being, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Fengda and the others were not suitable to be stored in the bracelet, so they could only suffer. Swear, where are we going? Empty asked curiously. Just walking around and recognizing the way, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Then she summoned Ling and ordered her to cast an invisibility spell on them. She wanted to watch the commotion. Master, let's go that way, Fengzhan suggested. That was the main house of the Guanyu family. The patriarch lived there. Who knew if the Yu family's patriarch had eaten today? Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly in agreement. She also wanted to take a look there. After speaking, the three of them and the two beasts walked toward the main room. Before they entered the yard of the main house, Leng Ruoxue and the others heard the roar from the yard. The three of them and the two beasts smiled evilly as they strode into the main yard and walked directly into the hall. They found a random seat and sat down, preparing to watch a good show. At this moment, in the meeting hall of the main yard, be it the patriarch of the Guanyu family or the elders, they were all sitting in their chairs gloomily and sulking because their and the beast's food had all disappeared. They had not eaten for almost a day, and their stomachs were rumbling with hunger. What was even more infuriating was that the people the patriarch arranged to go out to purchase food had actually not returned until now, and they did not know where they had died. Moreover, the little thief who stole their food had not been caught, alas. Tell me if any of you have any objections. The depressed Guanyu Long roared furiously. They had discussed for a while, but still couldn't come to a conclusion. Patriarch, I think we still have to strengthen the guards. Why would there be thieves out of nowhere? Moreover, not stealing money, not stealing things, and only stealing food. This is really too despicable. An elder said indignantly. Ooh. He really hoped that the thief was here to steal money. At least in that case, they wouldn't have to starve because the feeling of being hungry was really uncomfortable. Fifth elder, isn't this as good as not saying anything? Our Guanyu family has many guards already, but there's actually still a theft incident. As an elder in charge of safety work, shouldn't you take full responsibility? The sixth elder, who had always been at odds with the fifth elder, hurriedly added insult to injury. I admit that I'm responsible for losing something, but now is not the time to pursue the matter. The patriarch is asking which of us has a good way to prevent this kind of thing from happening again. Moreover, I agree with the second elder very much. I also think that the face of a family thief is very big. The fifth elder was not flustered and said calmly and nonchalantly, he just lost some food. He didn't believe that the patriarch would punish him for losing something to eat. Therefore, he was not afraid of the sixth elder's provocation at all. Shut up, all of you. I didn't ask you to express your opinions to watch you bicker. I want to see that thief now, no matter if it's a family thief or an outsider thief. Where is he after so long? Guanyu Long roared angrily. He was very dissatisfied with the efficiency of the elders because they had not found even a trace of the thief after nearly 10 hours. Patriarch, please calm down. The guards are searching every yard. They will definitely find it. The first elder comforted very helplessly. Alas! He knew that the patriarch was anxious, but how could he not be anxious? Because he was also hungry. First elder, how is Wuxia now? Guan Yulong took a deep breath and calmed himself down slightly before asking about the Wu family. I heard that Wu Qian'er's injuries have already healed. According to the Wu family's patriarch, she should be able to participate in the flower viewing convention as scheduled. The first elder told him everything he knew. In fact, he had something else he didn't say, which was that the Wu family's patriarch shouldn't worry. He knew that the patriarch would definitely go crazy if he heard this, so he didn't want to cause trouble for no reason. Oh, Guan Yulong answered lightly. Patriarch, Miss Wu's injuries are all healed. This is a happy matter. Congratulations, Patriarch. Suddenly, the sixth elder said very tactlessly, Wu Qian'er isn't my daughter. Why are you congratulating me? Guan Yulong glared and said fiercely, please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 611. Visiting the Guan Yu family at night for? Upon hearing the patriarch's words, the sixth elder immediately felt cold sweat forming on his back. Boo. He just wanted to flatter the patriarch. After all, Wu Qian'er was the patriarch's future daughter-in-law. However, why did it seem like the patriarch was very angry? Compared to the sixth elder's puzzlement, the other elders were clear in their hearts. They knew very well that the patriarch didn't want to become related to the Wu family. However, everything would be set if Wu Qian'er obtained first place in the Flower Appreciation Festival. Therefore, they were also very conflicted in their hearts because they knew that if Wu Qian'er participated in the Flower Appreciation Festival, unless some unexpected accident happened, there was a high chance that she would be the champion. Ooh. They were really in a difficult situation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have turned a blind eye and watched the sixth elder curry favor with the Wu family's patriarch. After all, they were unwilling to offend people who might become the future mistress of the Guan Yu family. Let's go. Lung Ruoxue sent a voice transmission to the freak and Empty after watching the commotion. Leaving so soon? Empty couldn't help asking. What? Haven't you seen enough? Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas! Empty had become naughty and actually wanted the world to be in chaos. Yes. Empty replied with a chuckle. Those people were so hungry that they cried out. This place is boring. Let's go to other places to take a look, Lung Ruoxue suggested. Swear, aren't we going to attack them? Should we snap them now? The freak's dazzling starry eyes emitted a cold glow as he asked fiercely. Freak, calm down. We are good children. We can't be so violent. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lung Ruoxue's forehead as she hurriedly said, Oh, then let them go for now. The freak said very kindly. His bright starry eyes were pure and innocent as he looked at Lung Ruoxue, as if he was saying, I'll listen to you. Okay, let's go. The 3 of them and the 2 beasts left the main yard and began to wander around the Guan Yu family. Moreover, they discussed as they walked. Swear, is this Guan Yu family really a top family in the boundless heaven continent? The freak asked doubtfully after circling around for a long time. Yes, what's the matter? Lung Ruoxue couldn't help asking doubtfully when she saw the dissatisfaction on the freak's face. I don't think it can compare to our home in the Lingfeng continent at all, the freak said with some disdain. In his opinion, this Guan Yu family was only slightly larger than the Lung family's general's mansion, but the interior decoration was completely inferior to the exquisite general's mansion. Of course. Lung Ruoxue said with a face full of pride. After she redecorated the general's mansion, the decorations inside were not something any family could compare with. Don't forget, she was an artificer. No family was willing to use a holy artifact as an ornament. Say, do you too have to be like this? If the Guan Yu family knows that their home has been despised by you, they will definitely vomit blood from anger. Empty said very helplessly. Freak, we don't live here, so don't express your opinion, Lung Ruoxua said very kindly. Okay. The freak nodded in agreement. Well, he had to listen to his wife. Master, the Fallen Plum Garden is up ahead, Feng Zhan suddenly reminded. Fallen Plum Garden? It sounds so familiar. Lung Ruoxua asked in puzzlement, momentarily stunned. Swear Fallen Plum Garden is the Wu family's temporary residence. Empty knew from Schwer's expression that she didn't remember at all, so he had to remind her. Oh, Lung Ruoxua nodded understandingly. Schwer'll go kick her twice more and send her straight to hell. The freak said lightly, his beautiful face unreadable. Don't. I'm still counting on her to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival. Lung Ruoxua hurriedly stopped him after hearing the freak's words. Schwer, why did you get Ningda to refine the snake accumulation pill for her? Empty asked in puzzlement. He knew that Wu Qian'er's injuries could only recover because Schwer's permitted it. Otherwise, Ningda would not dare to refine pills for Wu Qian'er at all. Haha, I want her to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival. Lung Ruoxua said with a light smile, her beautiful face full of mystery. Schwer, Guan Yulong doesn't seem to want Wu Qian'er to be their daughter-in-law at all. Could it be that you want to help Wu Qian'er fulfill her wish? Empty's beautiful face was full of curiosity, and his pitch-black and bright black eyes were even more dazzling and intimidating under the moonlight. Hee, how can I be so kind? You'll know then, Lung Ruoxua said with a smile. Schwer, aren't you going to tell me? The freak pouted with slight displeasure, his bright starry eyes looking at Lung Ruoxua resentfully. Tell. The freak's innocent gaze made Lung Ruoxua's hair stand on end. She hurriedly accepted her fate. Why did the freak always like to use this move to achieve his goal? What made her even more depressed was that she couldn't refuse at all. Schwer. Empty looked at Lung Ruoxua. Tears slowly welled up in his pitch-black eyes and rolled uncontrollably. Come closer. Lung Ruoxua sighed softly and said helplessly. Ooh. Nothing was like that. Okay. The freak and Empty hurriedly gave their ears. Lung Ruoxua whispered a few words in their ears, and then the two handsome men's faces revealed enchanting naughty smiles. Hee, Schwer, Wu Qian'er is really unlucky. Empty looked at Lung Ruoxua with admiration after hearing Schwer's plan. This is called striking first to gain the upper hand. Anyway, we've already formed a feud with the Wu family. Can we still count on getting along peacefully with them? Lung Ruoxua said nonchalantly. Humph. Since they had already become enemies, unless she didn't attack, she would definitely cause the enemies to die without a burial ground as long as she attacked. Of course not. The Wu family won't let us go. Empty said understandingly. Yes, that's why I have to prepare early. Lung Ruoxua said with a smile. The expression on her beautiful face was very pure and innocent. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 6:12. The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family 1. Schwer, let's go in and see Wu Qian'er, the freak said impatiently. He also wanted to add something to that annoying woman after hearing Schwer's plan. Okay. Lung Ruoxua nodded. The three of them and the two beasts walked into the Fallen Plum Garden with evil smiles on their faces. At this moment, the Fallen Plum Garden was abnormally quiet. The guards and maidservants in the yard didn't dare to make too much noise when they did things because Wu Qian'er's injuries had healed, so as to not affect the young Miss Rest. Master, the guard guarding the door should be that woman's room, Feng Zhan said after sensing with his divine sense. Okay, let's go take a look. Lung Ruoxua nodded. After speaking, the three of them and the two beasts walked toward the room. Lung Ruoxua saw Wu Qian'er sleeping on the bed through the window. She was only covered with a thin blanket, and her two snow-white arms were exposed. Freak, what are you doing? Lung Ruoxua unintentionally turned her head and saw the freak throwing trash into Wu Qian'er's room, so she couldn't help asking. Nothing. I'm just adding some material to her. Schwer, let's go. The freak clapped his hands gently. The mission was completed, so when should we leave if not now? Oh, Empty, what did you throw? Lung Ruoxua couldn't help asking speechlessly when she saw Empty throw a white pill into Wu Qian'er's room. I'll add something for her too. Empty said self-righteously. Schwer and that damn freak had tampered with it. How embarrassing would it be if he didn't do anything? Let's go. Lung Ruoxue helplessly pulled the two of them away. Well, she felt a little pity for Wu Qian'er now. She didn't know what the freak and Empty were made of. Schwer, where are we going? Empty couldn't help asking. Let's go back to sleep, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. She planned to stay in the Guanyu family until the opening of the Flower Appreciation Festival. So how could she finish circling this place in one night? Schwer, we haven't gone there yet. Empty pointed at the northernmost corner of the main mansion. Let's go tomorrow. I'm sleepy if I go back to sleep now, Lung Ruoxue said and deliberately yawned to prove her words. Okay. The freak and Empty nodded. Then the three of them and the two beasts returned to the abandoned side yard where they lived. After entering the yard, the three of them found Fengde and the guard sleeping soundly, so they gently passed them and returned to their rooms. After entering the room, Lung Ruoxue brought the freak and Empty into the bracelet with a thought. Grandpa, you're not asleep yet. Lung Ruoxue saw her grandfather and brother sitting on the stone chairs in front of the purple bamboo house, drinking tea and chatting as soon as she entered the bracelet. Schwer, we can't sleep. Lung Qingtian looked at his granddaughter. Lung Ruoxue was slightly stunned. Could it be that her grandfather and brother had insomnia? Haha, Schwer, Grandpa and I aren't sleepy yet. Lung Ruhan couldn't help laughing when he saw his sister's slightly stunned expression. Grandpa, are you missing Grandpa Lin and the others? Lung Ruoxue asked in realization. Alas, Grandpa had been with them for a long time, but he was the only one coming out of seclusion now. It was inevitable that she was a little uncomfortable. After all, no one bickered anymore. Yes, I don't know when those old things will come out of seclusion. Lung Qingtian didn't intend to hide it from his granddaughter lest she worry. Grandpa, Grandpa Lin and the old man should be here soon. I'm afraid the others will have to wait for a while. Lung Ruoxue contacted Qingju in her heart and asked about Grandpa Lin and the others' recent situation. Then she said to Lung Qingtian, Yes, I think so too. Lung Qingtian nodded. Haha, Grandpa. When Grandpa Lin and the old man come out of seclusion and see that you are already a mystic monarch, they will definitely be jealous of you, Lung Ruoxue reminded. In fact, it was good to have those old men bicker every day. Yes, Schwer, don't remind them of the existence of the silver snow pill. I want them to be jealous for a few days too, Lung Qingtian said with a naughty smile. He couldn't help wanting to laugh whenever he thought about those old fellows seeing his cultivation level after coming out of seclusion. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded and couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Alas, Grandpa was becoming more and more like a child. Schwer, what do you intend to do with the Wu family and the Guanyu family? Lung Qingtian couldn't help asking when he thought of their current location. Grandpa, the Wu family will definitely not let us go. As for the Guanyu family, they don't seem to care about us, so I'm not sure if the Guanyu family will become our true enemy now. However, we still have to teach the Guanyu family a lesson, Lung Ruoxue explained. How dare they chase them out of the inn? It would not be her style to let it go like this. Schwer, do you have any good plans now? Do you need Grandpa's cooperation? Lung Qingtian asked expectantly. Boo. He wanted to do something to exercise. There's already a plan, but it won't start until after the flower viewing convention begins, so Grandpa, wait patiently for 2 more days. Lung Ruoxue comforted. The Flower Appreciation Festival was about to begin in 2 days, so she wouldn't attack for the time being. Okay. If there's anything you need Grandpa's cooperation with, just tell me. Grandpa should move his old bones. Lung Qingtian reminded again, afraid that his granddaughter would forget him. Haha, Grandpa, don't worry. If there's anything fun, you and Big Brother will have a share, Lung Ruoxue promised. Alas, it seemed like Grandpa was really bored. Yes, it's good that you know. Lung Qingtian nodded with satisfaction. Grandpa, it's getting late. Go and rest. Lung Ruoxue looked at the time and urged. Okay, Schwer, rest early too. Lung Qingtian and his granddaughter stood up and said to Lung Ruoxue. Okay. Lung Ruoxua nodded. After watching her grandfather and elder brother return to their room, she greeted empty and pulled the freak into the purple bamboo hut. The next morning, Lung Ruoxua left the bracelet with the freak, and saw that Fengda and the others had woken up after exiting the room. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 613. The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family 2. Miss Commander Yi. Fengda hurriedly went forward to greet Lung Ruoxua and the freak after seeing them. He scratched his head shyly. They were actually drunk yesterday. Yes, where are the guards? Lung Ruoxua asked as her beautiful eyes swept the yard. She didn't see Guan Yulei's guards. I asked them to get food, Fengda said with a smile. The Guan Yu family is investigating this matter now. Letting them go and retrieve food at the peak of the storm will implicate us if we are discovered. Lung Ruoxua pretended to be displeased. Miss, don't worry. I got Ling to cast an invisibility spell on them. They won't be discovered, Fengda said with a smug face. The guards were actually afraid when he asked the guards to retrieve food in the morning. They didn't dare to steal anymore even if they said they would die. Therefore he had no choice but to ask Qingju for help to let Ling out. Then he got Ling to cast an invisibility spell on them before they dared to go. Yes, well done. Lung Ruoxua nodded in agreement. In fact, she had pretended to be angry just to see Fengda's adaptability. However, the result of the test satisfied her. Miss, we have an important plan. It's confidential now, Fengda said mysteriously and kept her in suspense. Even I can't know? Lung Ruoxua said doubtfully. Could they have some trick up their sleeves again? Miss, you just have to wait and see our results, Fengda promised with a naughty smile. Alright, I won't ask then, Lung Ruoxua said calmly. She really wasn't that curious. We're back. Suddenly, a voice sounded in Lung Ruoxua and the others' ears. Lung Ruoxua summoned Ling and ordered her to dispel their invisibility spell. The guards then appeared in front of everyone. Miss Lung, we've brought breakfast, a guard said very respectfully. Their attitude toward Lung Ruoxua and the others had changed drastically in just one day. Moreover, they knew very well that their young master had kicked an iron plate this time. Moreover, it was a piece of 10,000-year-old black iron. Moreover, this iron plate did not intend to let them go easily. Therefore they had better be good. Okay. Lung Ruoxua nodded. Her beautiful eyes glanced at them casually and stopped talking. She was not even interested in the change in their attitudes. A few guards took out breakfast from their rings and placed it on the table before standing respectfully at the side. I've eaten. Eat. Lung Ruoxua looked at the food on the table and said to Fengda and the others. Yes, Mississippi. Where are your silver wolves? The guard asked. They had brought all the food that the Guan Yu family had just cooked, including the silver wolves, of course. Lung Ruoxua smiled lightly and moved the silver wolves out of the bracelet. After seeing the silver wolf, the guards hurriedly took out a lot of food from their rings and placed it in front of them. Then they beckoned Fengda and the others to sit on the ground and took out a lot of things. This was their breakfast. Haha, big brother Zhao, you're really interesting. Fengda laughed loudly and patted the shoulder of one of the guards as if they were good brothers. Brother Fengda, our family's kitchen is now heavily guarded. It will probably be difficult to steal food in the future, a guard said with a troubled face. What's there to be afraid of? We're not afraid of thieves stealing, but we're afraid of thieves thinking about us. If we want to take it, we'll think of a way. Fengda said nonchalantly. Well, was he being a bad influence by saying that? It probably won't be so easy to take it again after this time, another guard echoed. Why did he seem to fall a little in love with this feeling of taking things? This was not a good sign. Don't be scared. We will cooperate with you next time. Fengda promised while patting his chest. Yes. Brother Fengda, you're really loyal. You're much better than some people in our family, Guard Zhao said very touched. This was what was meant by sharing fortune and difficulties together. Of course. If everyone bullies the weak and fears the strong like Guan Yuelai, then there's no justice in the world. Fengda said with a face full of contempt. young Master Lai is spoiled. In fact, he never really touched the women he snatched back every time, Guard Zhao said softly. Well, this was a secret. Could there be some inside story? Feng De asked curiously. I guess so. In fact, young Master Lai is quite pitiful. He spent a lot of effort snatching a woman back each time. But they were all released by the young master before he could touch them. Bodyguard Zhao lowered his head and whispered. No wonder Guan Yu Lai is still alive and well. It turns out that she didn't succeed. Feng De said in realization. He knew it. How could the cowardly Guan Yu Lai not encounter any trouble when she forcefully snatched a young girl from a good family? It turned out that she was killed in the cradle before trouble came knocking. This is a secret that even young Master Lai doesn't know. Commander Zhao looked around and reminded. How could he not know? Feng De found it unbelievable. How could his master not know that the woman he snatched back was released by someone else? Our young master doesn't have a good memory. He might have snatched those women back, but he usually can't remember their appearance, so he doesn't know even if young master dropped a bag for him. Commander Zhao explained, his face full of sympathy for Guan Yu Lai. Substitute? Are you saying that your young master used other women to replace those snatched women? Feng De asked uncertainly. You didn't hear it wrong, right? The young master of the Guan Yu family let go of the women snatched by Guan Yu Lai and actually got him a substitute. No wonder that fool didn't notice. Yes, young master used some women who volunteered to be concubines to exchange for the women he snatched. Young Master Lai's memory isn't good, so he can't distinguish which one was snatched by him and which was not. Commander Zhao couldn't help laughing softly at this point. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 614. The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family 3. Your young master really has ideas, Feng De said with a face full of admiration. However, he couldn't understand why the young master of the Guan Yu family did this. Of course. Young master is very smart. In fact, he's doing it for the family's reputation. Young Master Lai was born by the patriarch's most beloved woman, so he has been spoiled a long time ago. The more he spoke, the more enthusiastic he became. He even revealed the secrets of the Guan Yu family. Since you value the reputation of the family so much, why didn't you stop Guan Yu Lai's behavior? Feng De asked in puzzlement. Could that young master have other motives? Young Master Lai won't listen to young master. In fact, sometimes young Master Lai is so willful that he won't even listen to the patriarch, so young master has to think of another way. Commander Zhao couldn't help speaking up for their young master. If it wasn't for the patriarch's orders, they would want to follow the young master even more because they were not stupid. They knew very well that only by following the young master would they have a future. Alas, it's not easy for your young master either, Feng De said politely. In fact, he was not very interested in the secrets of the Guan Yu family. However, he did not mind learning more about the Guan Yu family. Yes, it's really not easy for the young master, Guard Zhao agreed. He and Feng De seemed to have found a resonance, and the more they chatted, the more opportunistic they became. They even waited for their ancestors 8 generations clearly. Lung Ruoxua looked at Feng De, who was trying to wring information out of her, speechlessly. 2 drops of cold sweat couldn't help dripping down her forehead. Feng De was addicted to wringing information. He even asked about her ancestors. Shall we take a walk somewhere else? The freak looked at Feng De and the others, who were chatting very amiably. Alas, they were really becoming smarter. They were chatting privately with another guard each. Okay. Lung Ruoxua ordered Ling to cast an invisibility spell on the 2 of them. She was about to leave this lousy yard when a voice without any hidden bitterness sounded in Lung Ruoxia's heart. How can you abandon me? Lung Ruoxua let go of the impossible bracelet speechlessly, and couldn't help but grumble in her heart. Can you not say it so ambiguously? Fortunately, the freak couldn't hear it. Otherwise, that jealous lover would be jealous again. Without Lung Ruoxia's instructions, Ling took the initiative to cast an invisibility spell on empty. Then he said to Lung Ruoxua, Master, it's done. Yes, good. Lung Ruoxua caressed Ling's soft and tender scales. Let's go. Lung Ruoxua said to the freak and Empty. The three of them left the remote broken yard. Swear, the Guan Yu family seems to have twice as many guards as yesterday. The three of them walked all the way to the vicinity of the main house. After seeing a sentry every 3 steps and a sentry every 5 steps, Empty said in disbelief, wasn't this Guan Yu family making a mountain out of a molehill? They only lost some food. Was there a need to be so nervous? It seems like they didn't eat breakfast today again, Lung Ruoxua said in realization, her beautiful face full of a naughty smile. Hee. The people sent by the Guan Yu family to purchase food yesterday seem to have returned this morning. Moreover, she heard from Qingju that they should have gone to other cities to purchase food because there just happened to be no more food in the shops of Guan Yu City. Alas! To say that the Guan Yu family was really unlucky. How did they manage to sell all the food in Guan Yu City just in time? In fact, if they really wanted to pursue the matter, it was all the trouble caused by the Flower Appreciation Festival. As the Flower Appreciation Festival was about to begin, minions had a large stockpile of food to prevent a shortage of goods by then. The food in the shops of Guan Yu City had already been sold out, and new food had not arrived. Therefore, it created the predicament of the Guan Yu family being unable to buy food everywhere. However, what was even more unlucky was that the food in the shop of the Guan Yu family had already been supplied to the moon-gazing restaurant, but the moon-gazing restaurant had collapsed. Otherwise, the Guan Yu family would not be hungry collectively. Hee of course. Empty smiled mischievously and said in realization. At this moment, Guan Yu Long was sitting on the main seat with a black face in the meeting hall of the Guan Yu family. He was cursing in his heart nonstop. Damn it. Who on earth was messing with them like this? It was fine that they didn't get to eat yesterday, but they couldn't find anyone. They finally got some food from other cities this morning, but it was gone again before they could eat. It was really infuriating. Patriarch, this matter must be investigated and punished severely. The people who stole our food are really too despicable. The 6 old men said abnormally angrily. Several shops under the Guan Yu family had to suspend their operations because of the lack of raw materials. One had to know that those were very profitable shops. Their family's losses every day would be considerable if they stopped their operations like this. 6th elder, isn't it obvious? Is there a need for you to say it? The 5th elder pouted and said lightly. He was obviously not interested in the 6th elder's hindsight. You. Shut up. Guan Yu Long roared with a slight headache. He was annoyed enough. These elders still didn't let him worry. He was really angry. The 6th elder was about to flare up when he was scared speechless by the patriarch's stern shout. Patriarch, the Wu family's patriarch is here. Suddenly, a guard walked into the meeting hall and reported. What is he doing here? Guan Yu Long frowned and said with some displeasure. Aha. I'm here to deliver food to you. The Wu family's patriarch laughed and entered uninvited. Wu Ming, what are you doing here? Guan Yu Long asked with a very cold tone. The expression on his face was obviously not welcoming him. He was already annoyed enough, but this annoying fellow actually came to cause trouble for him. He was really going too far. I came to deliver food to you. Didn't I say that just now? Wu Ming said with a face full of pity. The expression on his face was obviously saying, you're old. Can't you understand me? Thank you for your good intentions. We don't need it. Guan Yu Long said without gratitude. Eating people's mouths was short. He didn't dare to eat anything from Wu Ming. Really? But I heard you've been hungry for a day. Wu Ming gloated. Who said that? We're not hungry at all. Don't listen to the rumors outside. Guan Yu Long roared angrily. Damn it. Wu Ming actually saw his joke. Moreover, his stomach made a disappointing sound as he said this, making him blush. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 615. The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family 4. Oh, forget it since you're not hungry. Wu Ming said with a slightly smug smile. He turned and left without hesitation after speaking. Patriarch Wu, seeing Wu Ming leave, the 6th elder mustered his courage and stood up, unable to help shouting. Sixth elder, sit down. If you dare to ask for his food, you can forget about being an elder of our Guan Yu family in the future. Guan Yuelong said fiercely. He really hated Wu Ming, who came specially to demonstrate his might. Patriarch Wu has good intentions too. The sixth elder couldn't help defending Wu Ming softly. Wu. He was so hungry. He really didn't understand why the patriarch was so against the Wu family's patriarch. Good intentions, my ass. Sixth elder, I'll give you that damn thing if you admire it so much. Guan Yuelong roared furiously. I don't admire him. I admire the patriarch more. The sixth elder hurriedly expressed his opinion in fright. The patriarch was so ruthless. He actually threatened him like this. Don't mention him in front of me in the future, Guan Yuelong warned. He stopped when he saw that the sixth elder was afraid. In fact, how could he give the elders of his family away? The other families would laugh at their Guan Yu family to death if they knew. Patriarch. The Wu family's patriarch, he. The guard's voice sounded again just as Guan Yuelong finished speaking. Seeing this, the elders hurriedly turned their heads to the side and pretended not to hear. After all, the patriarch had said not to mention that person in front of him just now. Alas, they couldn't help sweating for this guard. They really didn't know how the patriarch would deal with him. They were thinking in their hearts, is that old thing demonstrating again? Guan Yuelong asked with an angry face. No, Patriarch Wu. The guard hesitated, finding it difficult to say. What happened to that damn thing? Don't hem and haw. Otherwise, I'll punish you according to the family law. Guan Yuelong threatened, his anger rushing to his head. Patriarch, the Wu family's patriarch, fell into the toilet. The guard hurriedly replied clearly when he heard that he needed to be punished. He didn't want to be punished. What did you say? Say it again? Guan Yuelong was stunned and couldn't help asking again after hearing the guard's words. Patriarch Wu fell into a latrine pit. The guard hurriedly replied without delay. I'm really too happy. Guan Yuelong laughed hysterically in a good mood after confirming it. The depression in his heart was finally released, and his chest was not so stuffy anymore. Patriarch, calm down. The first elder sighed and reminded. Alas! He was one of the few people who knew about the conflict between the patriarch and the Wu family's patriarch. Therefore, he sympathized with the patriarch and knew that the patriarch had been depressed for so many years. Is that fellow still staying in the toilet now? Guan Yuelong asked gloatingly. The expression on his face seemed to be saying, whoever dares to save him will be going against him. Yes. He's still inside. The guard replied loudly. He didn't dare to save the patriarch if he didn't say anything. Therefore, the first thing he thought of after seeing the Wu family's patriarch fall into the toilet was to report back. How dare you? Why didn't you fish the Wu family head up? Do you want to die? The sixth elder couldn't help but scold Wu Ming furiously when he heard that he was still in the toilet. He even ignored the patriarch. I can't save him alone. The guard was so scared by sixth elder's words that his entire body trembled, and he even stammered a little. Did he do it right or wrong? Sixth elder, you're the bold one. I'm still here. How can you speak here? Guan Yuelong reprimanded, his handsome face full of displeasure. Patriarch, I'm doing this for the family too. We can't explain it to the Wu family if anything happens to Patriarch Wu in our Guan Yu family. The sixth elder was so scared that his heart trembled as he hurriedly explained. Tch, he fell into the toilet himself. What has it got to do with us? Moreover, do I need to explain to the Wu family? Guan Yuelong narrowed his eyes and questioned lightly. Patriarch, the Wu family head is yours no matter if you're willing to admit it or not, the sixth elder said. However, he was interrupted by the first elder before he could finish speaking. Sixth elder, pay attention to your words. Don't say what you shouldn't. The first elder raised his eyes and warned indifferently. Upon hearing the first elder's words, sixth elder tactfully shut his mouth and didn't dare to say another word. Patriarch, what should we do with the Wu family's patriarch? Should we inform his subordinates? The first elder looked at Guan Yuelong for his opinion. No need. His subordinates will naturally come out to look for him when they find that he has disappeared. Let's not meddle. All right, everyone disperse. Guan Yulong began to chase them away. After speaking, he took the lead to leave the meeting hall. He had to admire the dead appearance of that stinky bug Wu Ming. He strode in the direction of the toilet, but after taking a few steps, Guan Yulong realized that a few tails were secretly following behind him. When he turned his head, the tails hurriedly hid. Seeing this situation, he couldn't help shouting, "Come out! Why are you following me like ghosts?" Patriarch, we also want to see the commotion. The first elder walked out of the dark awkwardly with a few elders. Everyone had 2 red clouds hanging on their faces. Obviously, they felt very embarrassed because they rarely did such things after living for so long. Go see it openly if you want to. Why are you sneaking around? This isn't something embarrassing. Guan Yulong said in disapproval. Anyway, he wasn't the one who was embarrassed. It would be better if all the citizens of Guanyu City came to see. What the patriarch says is reasonable, the first elder hurriedly said. Then he brought the elders beside him and followed Guan Yulong. The group walked majestically toward their toilet. Lung Ruoxue and the others had seen enough of the commotion when Guan Yulong and the others went to the toilet and returned to the remote yard. Miss, where did you go? Feng De looked at Lung Ruoxue and the others who suddenly appeared, and couldn't help asking curiously. Looks like Miss and the others went invisible to do bad things again. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 616. The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family 5. I went out for a walk. Oh right, the Wu family's patriarch fell into the toilet. Lung Ruoxue naturally wanted to share this news with her subordinates on the principle of sharing blessings. Ah, really, Mississippi? I want to take a look, Feng De said hurriedly. Miss, I want to see it too, Lin Yuan said, unwilling to be outdone. Yes. Go. Lung Ruoxue said and ordered Ling to cast an invisibility spell on Feng De and the others. The purpose of telling them was to let them watch the commotion. You should go too. Lung Ruoxue said very openly as she looked at the guards with interest in their eyes and some excitement. Miss, we'll be going then. The guards bowed respectfully and left the yard immediately after speaking. Seeing that only the 3 of them and the beast were left in the yard that was still crowded just now, the freak couldn't help suggesting, Schwer, let's go take an afternoon nap. Okay. Lung Ruoxue looked up at the sky and nodded in agreement. It was still a distance away from noon, but she could still take a nap now. I want to sleep too. Empty rolled his eyes and said helplessly, why did these 2 sleep for no reason? He really didn't understand. Could it be? He couldn't help letting his imagination run wild. Fortunately, Lung Ruoxue didn't know the dirty thoughts in his heart. Otherwise, she would definitely be anxious with him. After all, the relationship between the 2 children was very pure. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded slightly, and then brought the 2 of them, and the beast into the bracelet. After entering, Lung Ruoxue and the freak immediately left Empty and entered their purple bamboo hut. These 2 fellas. Empty glared at their backs and complained through gritted teeth. Then he entered his room. Time passed quietly, and a day passed quickly. Lung Ruoxue and the freak had been cultivating in the purple bamboo hut, so they didn't pay much attention to the situation outside. When Lung Ruoxue and the freak emerged from the bracelet and came to the yard, they saw Feng De and the others lying on the ground with their limbs facing the sky. Moreover, their stomachs were bulging. Feng De, what are you doing? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. They were lying on the ground when they were drunk, but why were they lying on the ground when they were sober? Miss, we were too full and couldn't stand up, Feng De said shyly. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but drip 2 drops of cold sweat on her forehead when she heard Feng De's words. She thought, are you children? You actually overeat. If you can't eat, then don't eat. Why are you so full that you can't even stand up? Upon seeing this, she helplessly took out a jade bottle from the bracelet, poured out a pill, and threw it into Feng De's mouth. The pill melted as soon as it entered his mouth. Feng De felt that his stomach didn't swell so much after taking it for a while. Miss Medicine was so effective. Open your mouths, Lung Ruoxue ordered. Then she released several mystic powers from her fingertips and threw a pill into everyone's mouths. After a while, Fonda and the others, who felt much better, hurriedly got up from the ground and looked at Lung Ruoxua very shyly with red faces. "Miss, we promised you that we would definitely complete the food mission, so we accidentally ate too much." Fonda scratched his head and smiled foolishly. "A bunch of idiots. Don't force yourself if you can't eat," Lung Ruoxua said with a face full of disapproval. Fonda and the others only smiled foolishly. "Did anything happen yesterday?" Lung Ruoxua asked casually. Nothing big, just a little small." Fonda suppressed his smile. "What?" Lung Ruoxua raised her eyebrows and asked very indifferently. "After the Wu family's patriarch was fished out of the toilet by his subordinates yesterday, he locked himself in his room and showered nonstop. Also, I heard a very strange sound coming from Wu Qian'er's room last night, Fonda hurriedly reported. "A very strange sound?" Lung Ruoxua was puzzled. Yes," Fonda stammered, not knowing what to say. "Did those guards steal food again?" Lung Ruoxua changed the topic, seeing Fonda's awkward expression. "No, they were called away by Guan Yu Lai," Fonda reported. "That fool didn't come yesterday, right?" Lung Ruoxua asked curiously. "He didn't come. I heard that he was temporarily grounded by Guan Yu Long. He said he would let him out after the flower viewing convention," Fonda said with slight pity. Alas, poor Guan Yu Lai. She had only snatched the young miss back for a day and never had the chance to see her again. "Seems like Guan Yu Long is afraid that he will cause trouble," Lung Ruoxua said in realization. "Miss, when are we leaving the Guan Yu family?" Fonda couldn't help asking curiously. The Flower Appreciation Festival was tomorrow. Miss should have some plans, right?" "Ningda will fetch us out today," Lung Ruoxua said calmly, a subtle smile flashing in her beautiful eyes. "Miss, are we going out so easily?" Fonda said indignantly. "They couldn't snatch the drip just because they wanted to. They had to be responsible for snatching it." "Do you think that's possible?" Lung Ruoxua asked with a light smile. Definitely not," Fonda said with a naughty smile. He knew that Miss would not let the Guan Yu family off so easily. However, the Guan Yu family had also been hungry for 2 days. Would anyone faint from hunger if they starved for a day today? Fonda, someone should be here to tour today, so quickly destroy the evidence," Lung Ruoxua ordered. In fact, she felt that it was quite strange. They had been here for 2 days, and the Guan Yu family had been looking for thieves, but why didn't anyone come here to search? "Miss, don't worry. We've already cleaned up. We won't let anyone find any evidence," Fonda promised. "Okay, then let's wait here for Ningda to come and ask for her," Lung Ruoxua said lightly with a malicious smile on her beautiful face. "Miss, is there anything we need to prepare?" Fonda asked again. "Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP." Chapter 617. Food that can talk 1. There's no need to prepare. We are victims. We just need to be of our nature, Lung Ruoxua reminded. Yes. Fonda understood. They were the victims, so they just had to pretend to be the victims. At the same time, Ningda, who had been restless for 2 days in the Alchemist Association, came uninvited after breakfast. In the Guan Yu family's living room, Guan Yu Long looked at Ningda sitting beside him with a face full of smiles, and was very happy in his heart. This President Ning was a rare guest. He couldn't invite him casually. He didn't expect him to take the initiative to visit today, haha. "President Ning, why are you here this time?" Guan Yu Long asked politely with a smile on his face. "There's a small matter," Ningda said calmly. He had also heard about what had happened to the Guan Yu family these 2 days, so he was still quite sympathetic to Guan Yu Long. Unfortunately, sympathy was sympathy. They had provoked Lung Ruoxua after all. Therefore, he could only express spiritual sympathy for the Guan Yu family. "Haha, President Ning, don't stand on ceremony. Just say it," Guan Yu Long said very readily. President Ning took the initiative to beg him. If they owed him a favor, their Guan Yu family's pills would not have to worry in the future. He thought happily in his heart. "It's like this. A guest from our Alchemist Association was snatched away by your ninth young master, so I'm here to ask for someone. Ningde said with a faint smile, his expression unreadable. What? There's such a thing? Guan Yulong was shocked and cold sweat couldn't help flowing down his back. Could it be that Patriarch Guan Yu thinks I will joke about this kind of thing? Ningde's face became stern and said somewhat coldly, President Ning, that's not what I mean. It's just that liar was grounded by me yesterday. He shouldn't have the chance to go out and snatch the esteemed guest of the Alchemist Association, right? Guan Yulong hurriedly explained. He didn't want to ruin the friendship with the Alchemist Association because of something unnecessary. After all, the consequences would be very serious if his relationship with the Alchemist Association was bad. Moreover, their Guan Yu family didn't have an alchemist, so he needed to establish a good relationship with the Alchemist Association even more. We snatched it the day before yesterday. Someone saw with their own eyes that our guild's guest was snatched away by your ninth young master, Ningde said calmly. Who saw it? Guan Yulong couldn't help asking. Do you think he'll tell you who it is so that your Guan Yu family can silence me? Ningde said very rudely, his expression becoming colder and colder. How can that be? I just wanted to ask that person to confirm. Guan Yulong said a little embarrassed. In fact, he was thinking about how to push this matter away. He really didn't want to offend the Alchemist Association. He couldn't help cursing in his heart when he thought of this. Damn, what a worrisome thing. How could this have happened if Sierra hadn't been at home for the past 2 days? Patriarch Guan Yu, there's no need to confirm. I believe that person won't say that he's panicking. Ningde said confidently because the person who saw it with his own eyes was him. He would have killed his way over on the same day if Miss didn't ask him to come today. Oh, someone bring young Master Lai here, Guan Yulong ordered. The guards outside the living room immediately went to look for him as soon as he finished speaking. Soon, Guan Yu Lai was brought to the living room. Father, you're finally willing to let me out. Hee, I knew you wouldn't bear to lock me up. Guan Yu Lai said confidently, her greasy face full of pride. While being kneeled down, Guan Yulong roared, a trace of imperceptible disgust flashing in his eyes. Father, why? Guan Yu Lai asked in disbelief. Kneel. Guan Yulong roared again and added a little pressure. Plop. Guan Yu Lai's knees softened and she couldn't help kneeling on the ground. Father. Guan Yu Lai looked at his father, who had always loved him with aggrieved eyes, his face full of disbelief. He couldn't believe that his father would actually shout at him in front of outsiders. This made him very embarrassed. One had to know that he was the most favored ninth young master of the Guan Yu family. Let me ask you, did you snatch someone again the day before yesterday? Guan Yulong ignored Guan Yu Lai's pitiful appearance and asked bluntly. No, Guan Yu Lai quickly denied, its eyes rolling around in panic. Could it be that the beauty had been discovered? Impossible, no one would go there at all. You still dare to deny it? How can it be fake if someone saw it with their own eyes? Guan Yulong glared and roared very angrily. Father, I really didn't. Who saw it? Let him out. Guan Yu Lai was not stupid when she was stupid. He knew very well that if he did something bad, he needed conclusive evidence. He believed that the matter with the beauty was very secretive, and no one would discover it at all, so he felt that he just needed to deny it. Patriarch Guan Yu, since the ninth young master refuses to admit it, why don't we call the guards beside him and ask him? Ningde suggested with a spurious smile. Okay, guards, bring those guards here. Guan Yulong ordered loudly for the second time. At this moment, the anger in his heart had already risen to an unprecedented height. He was already very hungry after not eating for 2 days. Now the Alchemist Association came knocking on his door to ask for them. He felt that he really had no face left. Yes. The guard outside the door immediately left the living room after hearing the Patriarch's order. After a while, the guards were all brought to the living room. Greetings, Patriarch. The guards bowed respectfully. However, their faces turned pale in fright when they looked up and saw the person sitting beside the Patriarch. Wasn't that person a tour guide? Why was he sitting beside the Patriarch? One had to know that not just anyone could sit beside the Patriarch. Did the ninth young master snatch someone again the day before yesterday? Guan Yulong didn't beat around the bush and questioned directly. Yes, yes. The guards looked at each other, nodded in unison, and said honestly, "Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP." Chapter 618. Food that can talk too. Don't spout nonsense. I didn't. Guan Yulai couldn't help reprimanding when he heard the guard. Shut up. Damn it. Why didn't anyone tell me? Guan Yulong was furious. The guards in the family were really looking down on him even more. Patriarch, we were arranged by young Master Lai to watch over those people and couldn't leave at all. After we were transferred back by young Master this morning, we stayed in the Lai yard to play with him, and didn't have the chance to leave. A guard composed himself and explained. He knew that they were now considered locusts on the vine with Fengda and the others, so what couldn't be said would definitely rot in their stomachs. Fortunately, they had discussed the excuse beforehand. Where are those people? Guan Yulong asked while suppressing his anger. However, a big question mark couldn't help surging in his heart. What do you mean by those people? They were locked in the side yard that our family abandoned by young master, the guard replied. Release those people immediately. Remember, don't slight them. Guan Yulong hurriedly ordered and glared at Guan Yulai, who didn't dare to make a sound because of his roar. Yes, the guard said quickly and left the living room. He, President Ning, this matter. Guan Yulong turned his head and looked at Ningda carefully. He stopped mid-sentence. Alas! He knew that it was impossible to minimize this matter since Ningda had found the door. Patriarch Guan Yu, I can't help you with this matter. Do you know who your son snatched? Ningda said with an expression that said I can't help you. Who is it? Guan Yuelong was shocked. From what Ningda said, could it be a big shot that he couldn't afford to offend? His heart turned cold at the thought of this possibility. The woman that the ninth young master snatched is the future president of our headquarters. One of his subordinates is His Excellency Du Min's beloved disciple. You do know Excellency Du Min, right? He's famous for being protective of his loved ones. Do you think I can help you? Ningda said with a very regretful expression, but he was laughing in his heart. This feeling of bullying was really good. I know. Cold sweat broke out on Guan Yulong's forehead after hearing Ningda's words. Why was their Guan Yu family so unlucky? They actually offended His Excellency Du Min, and the future president of the Alchemist Association. If other families knew that their Guan Yu family had offended the Alchemist Association, which family would dare to be on good terms with them in the future? Wasn't this the end of the world for their Guan Yu family? By the way, His Excellency Du Min is currently giving pointers to those alchemist grandmasters in our association. However, he was furious after knowing about this, so your Guan Yu family can only count on yourselves. Ningda said helplessly, the expression on his face so helpless. President Ning, you can't leave this matter alone. Can you help me plead with His Excellency Du Min? My Guan Yu family is willing to come personally to ask for forgiveness. Guan Yulong requested with a pale face, his attitude very humble. Patriarch Guan Yu, don't you understand what I'm saying? That young lattice subordinate is Du Min's beloved disciple, so the root of the problem isn't His Excellency Du Min, Ningda reminded. In fact, His Excellency Du Min had said that he would listen to the young lady when he came to the Guan Yu family. I understand. Guards, invite that young lady here. Guan Yulong hurriedly nodded and ordered. Yes. The guard guarding outside the hall nodded, and was about to leave to find someone when he was stopped by the patriarch. Wait, go personally. Guan Yulong had already stood up after speaking and turned to Ningda beside him. President Ning, can I trouble you to accompany me? Yes, but Patriarch Guan Yu, I have to let you know in advance. Don't count on me to help you. I'm really helpless in this matter. Ningda said with a troubled face. I know. I just need President Ning to accompany me. Guan Yuelong said with a bitter smile. Alas! Why was the Guan Yu family so unlucky? They actually provoked someone from the Alchemist Association. Then let's go. Ningda nodded. Take the young master away and lock him in the cell. No one is allowed to let him out without my orders. Otherwise, the family law will serve him. Guan Yulong ordered as he looked at the guards standing in the hall before leaving. Yes, the guards hurriedly said, heaving a sigh of relief at the same time. It seemed like they were safe for the time being. None of them had expected Miss Lung's identity to be so noble. Young master, please, a guard said. Father, you can't do this. How can you treat me like this for a woman? Guan Yulai hurriedly shouted in fright when he heard that he was going to be locked in the cell. Obviously, he didn't understand the importance of Lung Ruoxia's status. What are you waiting for? Bring him there immediately. Guan Yulong roared at the guards with some annoyance. Yes, the guards replied. At the same time, they couldn't help but grumble in their hearts. Who would dare to bring the young master down without your permission? He was your son after all. They were also afraid that the patriarch would settle the score later. Guan Yulong turned his head to Ningda and said, President Ning, let's go. Okay. Ningda nodded and prepared to watch the show. The two of them strode toward the side yard that the guard mentioned. They smelled a strange fragrance entering their mouths and noses when they were far away. This fragrance was really too lethal for Guan Yulong, who had been hungry for 2 days. What's that smell? How can it be so fragrant? Ningda took a deep breath and couldn't help asking. He looked at Guan Yulong as if he was saying, What good things did your Guan Yu family hide? I don't know either. Stop, where are you going in a panic? Guan Yulong said in puzzlement. Coincidentally, he saw another clansman passing by them and stopped that person. Patriarch. The person bowed very respectfully when he saw Guan Yulong and Ningda. He might not know the person beside the patriarch, but those who could walk side by side with the patriarch were definitely not ordinary people. Where are you going? Guan Yulong asked in puzzlement. Several more clansmen ran past them while asking this clansman. They even ignored him, the patriarch. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 619. Food that can talk 3. Someone seems to be grilling there, so let's go take a look, the clansman hurriedly explained. Boo. They had been hungry for 2 days, and such delicious food was not something they could refuse, so they wanted to see if they had the chance to buy some food. Patriarch Guan Yu, let's take a look too. Ningda said with great interest. President Ning, let's go see that young lady first. Guan Yulong suggested with some difficulty. He also wanted to see who was grilling and deliberately seducing them, but asking for the young lady's forgiveness was the most important thing for him now. Okay, Ningda answered understandingly. Thank you for your understanding, President Ning, Guan Yulong said gratefully. Then the two of them continued walking toward the side yard. However, they couldn't help but slow down because the smell was really too alluring. As they walked, they realized that the smell was getting stronger and more people were gathering around them. Patriarch Guan Yu, is this the side yard where Miss is locked up? Ningda couldn't help asking speechlessly when he saw Guan Yulong stop and frown. Alas! He knew it. The Guan Yu family couldn't even lift the lid. How could they make such a beautiful smell? So it was Miss who did it. Miss' move was really too ruthless. How could people who had been hungry for 2 days stand it? Yes. Guan Yulong nodded uncomfortably, wanting to cry but had no tears. Boo. This was a coincidence. Patriarch Guan Yu, there are so many people surrounding the door. It seems like it won't be easy for us to enter. Ningda said as if it was difficult. No, we'll get them to disperse. Guan Yulong shouted, Disperse. However, no one bothered with him. Family head Guan Yu, I think your voice is too soft. Ningda reminded. In fact, he had long been laughing in his heart. Haha, this was the power of food. Disperse. Guan Yulong roared furiously. Boo. It seemed like he couldn't get his face back. However, the response was still in the dark heads of the people behind him. Family head Guan Yu, forget it. Stop shouting. They will naturally disperse when the smell is gone. Ningda couldn't help being comforted. He even felt some pity for Guan Yulong now. Alas! This family head status in the hearts of his clansmen was actually inferior to food. Alas! That's the only way. Guan Yulong sighed heavily and said helplessly. Ningda found a random place to sit down and stole a glance at Guan Yulong, whose face was a little dark. Apart from pity, he was also sympathetic. In the yard, Lung Ruoxue, the freak, and Empty were sitting on the stone chairs as handlers. Zheng En Fengde, and the others handled the food nimbly. The onlookers at the entrance of the yard, and the angry old man in front of them were naturally ignored. "Damn it, I'm talking to you. Did you hear me?" The sixth elder roared furiously, cursing in his heart nonstop. Damn, these people actually dared to not take him, the sixth elder, seriously. He would definitely not let them go. Unfortunately, Lung Ruoxue and the others didn't even look at him. "Guards, arrest these thieves who stole our Guanyu family's food." The sixth elder roared at the people behind him without any face, seeing that he was ignored. However, no one bothered with him at all, because almost everyone was drooling and staring intently at the food in Fengde, and the others' hands with shining eyes. Nothing was more important than the delicious food in front of them now. "First elder, are we just going to let sixth elder do this?" The fifth elder asked the first elder beside him softly in the crowd. He couldn't help being surprised. Where did these people come from? "Can you stop him?" The first elder sighed softly and said helplessly. Alas! The sixth elder was already going crazy from hunger. The three people sitting there were obviously not to be trifled with. He was experienced and knowledgeable, and had seen countless people. He knew very well that the Guanyu family was probably in trouble this time. "First elder, I think I heard the patriarch's voice just now," fifth elder said uncertainly. "Go out and take a look. If not, go find the patriarch yourself," the first elder said after some thought. He had only been paying attention to the food just now and didn't hear anything at all. However, now that things had come to this, he felt that it was better for the patriarch to come personally, lest things couldn't be sorted out in the end. "Yes, first elder. Don't forget to buy some for me if they are willing to sell these food." The fifth elder didn't forget to remind him before leaving. "Yes, go quickly," first elder urged. Alas! At this point, how could he be in the mood to eat? He wanted to know more about why these people appeared in the Guanyu family. However, he wouldn't directly say that they were thieves like the sixth elder. "I'm going." Fifth elder slowly arched out of the crowd like a snail after speaking. "Yes, sixth elder." First elder nodded and then said helplessly. "First elder, you're here. I found the thieves. Hurry up and send people to capture these thieves." The sixth elder was excited as if he had seen help after seeing the first elder. These food was finally going to belong to them. "Shut up." The first elder couldn't bear it anymore and scolded. He glared fiercely at the sixth elder, and turned his head to Lung Ruoxue and the others and said very politely, "I'm sorry everyone. Our Guanyu family has been rude. May I know why you have come to our Guanyu family?" The sixth elder instinctively shut his mouth after being roared by the first elder. "You are the first elder of the Guanyu family?" Lung Ruoxue raised her eyelids slightly and said very coldly, when she saw that a heavyweight was finally willing to appear. "Yes, May I know why Miss and the others came to our Guanyu family?" The first elder said very amiably, a faint smile hanging on Old Song's face the entire time. After all, he would absolutely not act rashly without knowing these people's identities. "First elder, they're obviously here to steal from our Guanyu family. They're the thieves we've been looking for 2 days. We finally found them today," the sixth elder said anxiously after resting for a while. "Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP." Chapter 620, Food That Can Talk for. Shut up. First elder roared with a black face. "First elder, you should send people to arrest them, not ask me to shut up." The sixth elder's anger rose and he directly roared at the first elder. He would not dare to speak so loudly in front of the patriarch and first elder usually, let alone shout at them. However, he had been hungry for 2 days and had almost lost his mind, so he had to obtain these food. The Guanyu family really doesn't differentiate between seniors and juniors. I only found out today that the first elder of the Guanyu family can be shouted at by anyone. Lung Ruoxue said mockingly with a light smile after looking at the crazy sixth elder. Miss, don't misunderstand. Sixth Elder's mental state has been a little abnormal these past 2 days, so I won't take it to heart with him, First Elder explained without anger. First Elder? You're the one with abnormal mental health. You actually didn't arrest the thief when you saw him. You're really too useless. The anger in the Sixth Elder's heart surged when he heard that the First Elder actually embarrassed him in front of outsiders, and even said that he was mentally ill. At this moment, whatever he was afraid of had long been thrown to Java. He First Elder, right? Seems like this crazy Sixth Elder doesn't appreciate your kindness. The noble and elegant Empty said with a faint smile. You said we are thieves. Do you have any evidence? After speaking to the First Elder, Empty turned his head and stared at the Sixth Elder with his pitch-black and gloomy eyes as he asked calmly. Of course there are. Firstly, this is the territory of our Guan Yu family. Why are you here? Secondly, these food you're grilling now are obviously our Guan Yu family's things. 2 days ago, our Guan Yu family was robbed. Now that the evidence is conclusive and the stolen goods are all here, what else do you have to say? The Sixth Elder didn't give the First Elder any chance to speak at all. The expression on his face became more and more smug as he looked at these food that emitted an alluring fragrance in front of him. The First Elder sighed, and fell silent after hearing what the Sixth Elder said. Alas! He knew that things were not under his control at all. Patriarch, I've tried my best. Come quickly. He prayed silently in his heart. Sixth Elder speaks clearly. Seems like he's really not sick. Lung Ruoxia said with a smile. Not bad, not bad. Even pigs took the initiative to fall into a trap. Of course I'm not sick. Humph. You thieves dare to steal our Guan Yu family's food. You're dead meat. The Sixth Elder became even more smug. Sixth Elder, you said that we grilled the food of your Guan Yu family. Do you have evidence? Lung Ruoxia said nonchalantly. In fact, the Sixth Elder was right. The food that the Guan Yu family had lost these 2 days was indeed eliminated by her subordinates and the beasts. Of course, there was also the traitor of the Guan Yu family. However, he didn't have evidence. She knew that the Sixth Elder's goal was only for the food in front of her. He didn't care if it was the Guan Yu family at all. What she wanted was this effect, so she was very grateful for the Sixth Elder's cooperation. Yes, that Sixth Elder. Do you know what we grilled? Fengda, who had been cooking, couldn't help asking. Actually he had been suppressing it for a long time, but Miss hadn't said anything yet. He couldn't ruin Miss' plan. Roast meat. What else can it be? The Sixth Elder said with certainty. Even though this meat smelled very fragrant, meat was meat, not something rare. It was also used to test him. He really despised his intelligence. Miss, take out the food and let the food tell us for yourself. Are they from the Guan Yu family? Fengda suggested with a smile, already overjoyed in his heart. He had already foreseen the expression of the Sixth Elder when he saw the food. Do you think him a 3-year-old child? How can food speak? The Sixth Elder roared in disbelief, but he was pleasantly surprised in his heart. He couldn't help shouting, take it out quickly. This bit isn't enough. Then let the food speak for itself. Lung Ruoxia moved the food from the bracelet with a thought. They occupied the entire yard as soon as they emerged. What do you want? Do you want to fight? I'm warning you not to do anything rash. This is the territory of our Guan Yu family. The Sixth Elder looked at the dozens of giant pythons that suddenly appeared and occupied the yard and surrounded him. His face was pale from fright, and he stammered a little as he spoke. His entire body was trembling nonstop, and his legs were so weak that he could barely stand. Boo! He was most afraid of snakes, and each of these snakes was so huge. However, he forced himself not to faint because he was afraid that he would become food in their huge mouths after pressing down on these giant pythons. The First Elder also looked at the giant python not far away with his mouth agape, thinking to himself, could those delicious food be python meat? No one dared to eat snakes in the boundless heaven continent. It was not that they didn't want to eat them, but they couldn't afford to offend them, because the pythons on the boundless heaven continent lived in groups. Similarly, the people from the Guan Yu family, who had been watching by the door, were also scared. Some people who were afraid of snakes even fainted from fright after seeing these pythons that gave off immense pressure. Sixth Elder, don't you not believe that food can talk? I've brought the food out. Ask them yourself. Lung Ruoxua pointed at the pythons and urged the sixth elder. They are food? Who are you lying to? The sixth elder stammered, his face full of disbelief. He would not believe that these snakes were food. He would rather believe that these snakes were the beasts of this woman in front of him, that she deliberately let them out to scare him. If you don't believe me, let them say it themselves. Lung Ruoxua shrugged and said helplessly, we are the food raised by Mississippi. The highest level black python among the pythons complained with tears in its eyes. Its demeanor and expression looked so pitiful. It was a level 7 transcendent divine beast. However, it could not become Miss Beast. Moreover, Miss always threatened these poor snakes, saying that whoever had the lowest level would eat it the next time they wanted to eat snake meat. They were so scared that they did not dare to delay at all, and cultivated diligently. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 621. Food that can talk 5. However, after following Miss for so long, Miss treated them really well and often gave them delicious things. Therefore, if Miss really wanted to eat them, they were also willing to be eaten by Mississippi. After all, Miss had long been the master in their hearts. This was absolutely the thoughts of the pythons. Sixth elder, did you hear that? Lung Ruoxua ignored the python's pitiful gaze and said directly to the sixth elder, I don't believe it. The sixth elder roared in disbelief. In fact, he wasn't the only one who couldn't accept it. Many people from the Guan Yu family also couldn't accept it. However, their thoughts were different from the sixth elders. They just felt that this fact was too unbelievable. Sixth elder doesn't believe you. Lung Ruoxua looked at the pythons with a spurious smile. Damn it, how dare you doubt my words? Are you tired of living? The black python roared furiously. How dare you not believe me? Do you think I would lie about something like this? I can be as obedient as a kitten in front of my young miss and the others, but there's no need for me to swallow my anger in front of this damn old man. Moreover, this damn old man provoked my young miss, so it's even more unforgivable. Big brother, kill him, a blue water python suggested. It rolled up the sixth elder with its thick tail, and its cold blue eyes stared at the sixth elder like it was staring at its prey. Help! The sixth elder was enrolled in the semi-high school. All the blood in his body rushed to his head. He couldn't help screaming loudly as he looked at the pythons with fierce eyes below him. He wanted to faint now, but he was very energetic. Moreover, he didn't feel anything except fear at this moment. Coward, what a useless thing. If you can be an elder at your level, then I can be the patriarch. The blue water python said with contempt. First elder, save me. The sixth elder pleaded again. He was really scared. However, the first elder didn't even raise his head as if he didn't hear it. He only looked down at his new shoes. Save you? You can count on yourself. I can't save you. How could he dare to snatch someone from the python's tail? Big brother, do we do it? The water python asked after the sixth elder asked for help. Kill. The black python ordered coldly. It was a level 7 transcendent divine beast with strength equivalent to a mystic supremacy. That damn old man actually dared to doubt its words. He had really lived enough. Okay. The water python was about to attack when it was interrupted. Keep your men. Guan Yu Long, who had squeezed into the yard with great difficulty, said loudly. He also glared fiercely at the sixth elder, who wanted to faint but couldn't. Moreover, he was so scared that he peed his pants while foaming at the mouth. Who is it? The water python roared in displeasure. I'm the patriarch of the Guan Yu family, Guan Yu Long. Please show mercy and spare his life. Guan Yu Long pleaded. He hated the incompetent sixth elder to the core, but the sixth elder was a member of the Guan Yu family after all. It would be a great humiliation for their Guan Yu family if they were killed by a snake in front of him. Therefore, this kind of thing absolutely couldn't happen under his nose. Oh, so you're the boss of this coward. This coward actually dares to question our big brother's words. Tell me what to do. The water python questioned unforgivingly. Guan Yulong was at a loss for words. What could he do? Helpless, he couldn't help turning his gaze to Ningda, hoping that Ningda could put in a few good words for him. However, the words helpless were written in Ningda's eyes. In fact, he was quite curious about these pythons because he just heard them calling themselves food. Miss actually raised powerful pythons as food. It was really too awesome. Guan Yulong knew that he couldn't say anything when he saw Ningda's expression. Therefore, his gaze couldn't help searching the yard. His eyes couldn't help lighting up when his eyes moved to the three people sitting by the stone table, because the three people in front of him were really too outstanding. The man was incomparably handsome, and the woman was drop-dead gorgeous. They were all of heaven's charm. The man and woman leaning against each other were mystic monarchs, and the other man's strength was unfathomable to the point that even he couldn't tell. He sighed softly and carefully passed through the huge python group that occupied the entire yard to arrive in front of Lung Ruoxue and the others. He bowed slightly and said, "Miss Lung, I've neglected you. I'm really sorry for making you suffer." Family head Guan Yu, is it? I'm not the one being wrong now, but my food. How dare you question the words of a level 7 transcendent divine beast? Your family's sixth elder is quite bold. Lung Ruoxue said coldly. I'm willing to apologize to Miss Lung and your food on behalf of the Guan Yu family. I hope Miss Lung will spare the sixth elder's life. Guan Yulong requested very kindly. However, he couldn't help but grumble in his heart. How could anyone treat a level 7 transcendent divine beast as food? It would be strange if anyone believed it. Patriarch Guan Yu, the Guan Yu family is a top family. There's really no need for a powerless little girl like me to bow and scrape. I can't bear it. Lung Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of fright. This matter was originally our Guan Yu family's fault. Therefore, you can completely bear it. 2 drops of cold sweat couldn't help hanging on Guan Yulong's forehead. He thought to himself, who dared to say that the future president of the Alchemist Association was a powerless little girl? He was the first to be anxious with that person. In the boundless heaven continent, the only ones who could be compared with the 3 major super families were probably only the 4 major guilds. Even though the Guan Yu family was a top-notch family, they were not even a fart in front of the 4 major guilds. Patriarch Guan Yu, some things can't be treated as if nothing happened with an apology. Lung Ruoxue reminded kindly, seeing that Guan Yulong's attitude was still considered sincere. Miss, feel free to request anything? Guan Yulong said very humbly. He knew that it was probably impossible to resolve this matter peacefully after hearing Lung Ruoxue's words. Alas! He only hoped that this woman's request would not be too ridiculous now. After all, he was unwilling to fall out with the Mystic Association. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 622. This is our food expenses 1. Requirement? What does Patriarch Guan Yu mean? Do you think I want to take advantage of you? Lung Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and said very displeased. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that our Guan Yu family has let Miss suffer. I'm willing to compensate Miss on behalf of the Guan Yu family, Guan Yulong hurriedly explained. He didn't understand. He didn't say anything either. Why did he anger Lung Ruoxue? Miss, the meat is grilled. At this moment, Feng De deliberately walked to Lung Ruoxue and the others with a few pieces of grilled meat and handed them the meat. Thank you. Lung Ruoxue took the delicious and greasy meat, put it in her mouth, and took a small bite. A unique fragrance of meat drifted into Guan Yulong's nose along the breeze. It smells so good. Guan Yulong couldn't help taking a deep breath and muttering in his heart, "Boo-hoo. Eating it in front of me is obviously deliberately craving me. It's too much. Patriarch Guan Yu, would you like some?" Lung Ruoxue looked at the few pieces of grilled meat left on the table and asked politely. However, before Guan Yulong could answer, Empty said, "Swear, Patriarch Guan Yulong is experienced and knowledgeable. What good things have he not eaten before? Why would he want a few pieces of grilled meat?" "Yes, that's true," Lung Ruoxue said understandingly and stopped giving in. However, She couldn't help laughing secretly in her heart when she saw the constipated expression on Guan Yuelong's face. Haha. Guan Yulong was so angry seeing the two of them echoing each other. He was really angry that they seduced him but didn't let him eat them. Evil people. Miss, I'm very sincere. What's your opinion? Guan Yulong turned his gaze away from the alluring food and asked again. Patriarch Guan Yu, you should coax my food first. I've raised them for so long. If their mood affects the quality of the meat, then there's nothing to talk about. Lung Ruoxue didn't directly answer Guan Yulong, but didn't refuse his suggestion. Alright then. Guan Yulong couldn't help saying gloomily. Boo. Not only could he not eat those food, he actually had to coax them. What was this? Then go quickly. We'll have a chance to talk after coaxing them. Otherwise, I won't let anyone who dares to bully me off. Lung Ruoxue half urged and half warned. Alright, please wait a moment, Mississippi. Guan Yulong smiled bitterly and came to the highest level black python and said, May I know your name? How can anyone tell me my name? The black python raised its head high and said arrogantly, its cold eyes not even looking at Guan Yulong. Then how should I address you? 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Guan Yulong's forehead. This python seems to be very angry. Look at this attitude. It's not friendly at all. Up to you, the black python said coldly, its expression still cool. Then I'll call you Brother Black. Brother Black, can you not let your brother let go of the 6th elder? Guan Yulong probed. Alas, the 6th elder was already foaming from being hung. Wouldn't he vomit blood if this continued? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you, I won't let the 6th elder drip. I think he likes to swing like this. Don't worry, I'll let my brothers take turns to play with him. He promised not to be lonely with us. The black python promised. Guan Yulong was helpless. Why was this black python so stubborn? He looked at the 6th elder and couldn't help but sigh. Alas. Forget it, it was fine as long as the 6th elder didn't die. He shouldn't care about the others. Don't worry, I won't kill him. We don't eat raw meat now. The black python saw through Guan Yulong's thoughts and comforted him. Hee, they wouldn't attack before Miss said anything. They just wanted to scare them just now. Oh, thank you. Brother Black, I apologize to you on behalf of the 6th elder. You're a magnanimous person, so don't be angry with him, okay? Guan Yulong coaxed very nicely. Oh no, he's just a mystic sovereign. How dare he doubt my words? He deserves to die. The black python said without giving him any face. Then what will make you not angry? Guan Yulong asked implicitly. Boo. He almost said what are the conditions again just now. However, he didn't dare to say that anymore with Lung Ruoxue's example. Let me think. The black python frowned and began thinking. Okay, take your time thinking about it. Guan Yulong hurriedly said happily when he heard that there was a door. Then he stood to the side and didn't disturb the black python. The 1st elder quietly walked to Guan Yulong's side with slight suspicion. He was about to say something when Guan Yulong stopped him with a look, indicating that it was not the time to speak. After receiving the patriarch's hint, the 1st elder also stood to the side tactfully, not disturbing the black python's contemplation. However, he had many questions in his heart because the patriarch's attitude toward the young girl was really too strange. Moreover, the patriarch didn't even ask about their identities but was so polite to them, which couldn't help making him very curious. The black python not far away was frowning in thought. However, it couldn't think of anything after thinking for a long time. Moreover, it was a little tired from thinking. It lay on the ground and closed its eyes. A few hours later, the black python still didn't open its eyes. Not only that, but the sound of snoring came from its body. This couldn't help but make Guan Yulong and the 1st elder's faces blacken, and they couldn't help but grumble in their hearts in unison. They had been standing there foolishly for several hours, but not only did the black python not give them any answer, it even fell asleep. They were so depressed. How could there be such a top-grade snake? What they didn't know was that the beasts beside Lung Ruoxue were all smart even if they didn't have a contract. How could they let them succeed so easily? Moreover, Guan Yulong found that no one on Lung Ruoxue's side was waiting at all except for him, the first elder, and the clansmen of the Guan Yu family who were waiting eagerly. They were doing what they should be doing. As for Ningda, he had long found a sunny place to bask in the sun because he had eaten too much grilled meat. He didn't intend to pay attention to the trivial matter between them at all. Anyway, he had already said what he wanted to say. As for the outcome later, it was not up to him to decide, so he naturally didn't have to participate. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.